All right. What's up, chat? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the podcast. Hope you guys are doing well. Got an interesting lineup for you because I've missed quite a bit over the last like week or so. So with that being said, let's run down the gambit a little bit. So we got some King Cobra, we got some Wings of Redemption, and obviously we got some DSP on the lineup. It's it's a thing. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. With that being said, I guess we can get into our welcome to my TED Talk. A few things that I'd like to just speak on really quickly. DSP, for example, in his economic situation, like basically he was born into poverty. I don't understand what's going on. I don't know if he's trying to take T's soul and whatnot. I don't know if he wants to act like he was underprivileged. I don't get it. I don't know if this is part of the struggle session that's going on. I don't know if this is some new grift. I don't know. But whatever. We'll appeal on that in a minute. And then he's crying and complaining about how he can't have his own opinion about Zelda, even though no one's taking his opinion away from him, just no one cares. I don't know why he doesn't understand the difference between that. Like, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has them, but no one has to care. I don't get it. Outside of his own little bubble, why would anybody care? And maybe because he's been humiliated and this, that, and the third. Maybe people have made a name off of him because of this, of his journey, if you will, with fucking Zelda, and he's feeling a certain type of way. I don't know. Matter of fact, wasn't one of the people who was like made a real big name for themselves on either TikTok or Twitter? Didn't they turn out to be a dent, like or some nonsense like that? And she got into it with like another detractor, and that's what ended up blowing that whole shit up. Something like that. I don't know. Whatever. But the point being is that no one cares. No one has to care about what you say. No one has to care about what anybody says. Wings of Redemption has been on his fuckery as of late. Straight fuckery. This dude, just give up life if that's the case in Minecraft. Just give up. You got Kelly in the wings crying about how she's upset about her weight gain. And I can understand that, and I can't hurt her for that because she at least tried to lose weight, and she's kind of getting like really down on herself because of her current situation. Wings is giving her like that fucking 1,000-mile stare, and then just goes back to Rainbow. Then he's fucking up on Rainbow and shitting on Cheese, and Cheese is one of the guys he games with, and that dude carries. I'm not necessarily saying he carries the diamond type shit, but he carries, and as I've said, Wings is proving that without reflexes and reactions, he's useless. You can literally sit there and talk all the shit you want about what you know about what map and this, that, and the third. And don't get me wrong, knowledge is important. But if you cannot implement it, or if you cannot pass it on to other people, then it means nothing. So, And then Wings is saying that he doesn't want to lose weight. He doesn't want to better himself. He just wants to eat, sleep, shit, and just be miserable. Okay, if that's really if that's how the cookies really come to crumble, then so be it. And then there's Cobra. Josh. If you've seen, we're gonna actually be watching one video from the Boglim Chronicles, and this burrito that he made and left that bitch out overnight, and it's infested with bugs, and he's eating it, and I know he saw it, I know he sees it, and he still ate it. We're not going over that video today. I don't mean to torture you guys with that nonsense today, but we will go over it. Fucking A. We will go over that video, just not today. We're gonna go over his begging video. Yeah, it's something crazy. And the thing is, right, if you follow Cobra for any brief period of time, he likes to cook these weird ass contraptions and then just leave it on his stove or on his table all night. And the dude lives in absolute fucking squalor. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, big up chat. What's up, Proper? I need to shoot you a message after the stream. Just to see how you're doing. So big ups. Big ups to everybody. He leaves his food out overnight, and you know his house is fucking infested with all kinds of different types of flies and gnats and roaches and all this, that, and the third. And that shit is starting to invade his food. And the thing is, it's probably done that for a while. But it just happened that on the stream or in the videos, it's so much more noticeable. That shit was crazy. So anyway, so there's that. Okay, what happened over the weekend? Or what happened last week? I played a lot of, I played a shitload. I even have actually some footage recorded of X Defiant. I had a great time with it, to be honest with you. Is it a COD killer, as Robert, I don't think Robert's here yet, but as Robert would say, is it a COD killer? No. And Robert was right, it wasn't going to be. It's fun though. It is a lot of fucking fun. I had a great time with it, and it gives you an old school Call of Duty type of feel, to be honest. It's a good game that could potentially be great if the right thing, if it's taken care of. And that's pretty much what I have to say about that for right now. I'll expand upon that later on down the line. CEO. This is the first Street Fighter tournament that happened over the weekend. I think it's held in Florida. And somebody out there kind of had a DSP moment. And the fact that he was playing Dragon Ball FighterZ. He got beasted, right? And he essentially threw his headset at the other guy. I don't think he purposely wanted to do that. I think he just wanted to throw it down. But he threw his headset at the guy, and then he threw his fucking controller on the ground. People are kind of laughing about it because that's what happens. And then the cameraman who was catching all this zooms in on the guy's controller because that shit's all the buttons are busted out of it. And the dude runs up and tries to swing on him. And whoever his man was or whatever came through and pulled him out. And they were like, yo, he's just 16, whatever. And I'll tell you, just like I told the people in that Discord, first off, he didn't look 16, first off and foremost. So if he had gotten that clap, he'd have gotten that clap. That's the first thing. Secondly, whoever was his man, his caretaker, whatever. Holy shit, what is up, Red? I haven't seen you in like a minute. Big ups, Red. Big ups to everybody in chat. I don't know who his man was or whoever it was that was watching him or his chaperone or whatever that case may be, but they should have been on him. You got a bunch of dudes over there who are chill and this, that, and the third. There's a lot of trash talking. There's a lot of it. And they're not going to play no games because you don't know if that kid got a knife. You don't know if that dude got a gun. Do any of you guys remember that shit that happened at that Madden tournament down in Florida a few years ago? People don't have time to try to figure out what the problem is. As soon as that dude swung on him, he's just very fortunate his man jumped on him and pulled him out of there. Because that shit could have gotten ugly for that kid. Whether he was a kid or not. That shit was crazy. So anyway, I'll show you the video of that too. I have that. I've got that downloaded. And Red actually just brought that shit up. Cyrax. Yes, Cyrax got his ass arrested, crying and wailing like a bitch. Getting carried out of that squalor of a fucking flop house that him and his grandmother and whoever that dude is lives in. And wailing wailing like a beaten dog. Talking about why did you guys come through for me when I called you? Like, it was sad. It was fucking sad. Now, supposedly, he's made bail. I don't know if that's true or not. But, you know, it is what it is. That shit looks like a fucking flop house. Them cops ran up in there and grabbed him. Whoever the dude was that Cyrax swung that aluminum bat on, that dude like went on a podcast literally like the same night. He's like, yo, I'm pressing charges. I want to see that dude in jail. I'm gonna present them the charges against him for the pedo shit and all the other nonsense. That shit's gonna be crazy. He got bailed out for $300. That sounds about right. But that shit's a mess. That shit's a mess. So the next time DSP wants to get on his fucking high horse and talk about how we're all brain dead idiots and we're all mentally ill and this, that, and the third, he's very, very fortunate that shit hasn't hit the fan like the way it is hitting over there. Because it is hitting over there. Wings gets that bullshit. Low Tier God gets that bullshit. Fucking Cyrax gets that bullshit. There's like a 24-hour watch supposedly on Chris Chan. That shit's getting crazy. Trust me, DSP has that shit lucky. You know what I'm saying? He has it lucky. Even with some of the dents that kind of float around or whatever, he doesn't have it as bad as most locals. He really doesn't. He never really did. The only thing that I think most people, detractors, trolls, haters, and critics hit is his ego. And that's the thing he values more than anything. Because he doesn't have pride, and he don't try to fight for it either. He fights for his ego way more than this supposed pride that he has. So, make of that what you will. But anyway, so there's that nonsense. So, like, the next stream, hopefully I'll have all that compiled for you and whatnot, and we can kind of go over it. It's some funny shit. It's some legitimately funny shit. And that's that, guys. Thank you guys for coming to my TED Talk. And we can continue the discussion as we move along, and so on and so forth. And let me just get through these videos for y'all, and then we'll make of that what we will. Let's take a look at chat. Wings trolls are definitely back, have definitely like eased up as of late, to be honest with you. Because Wings will bring himself down. Like, and that's kind of the unfortunate thing, but it's something that, you know, most people saw coming. That at the end of the day, Wings wasn't going to be about shit. Wings was not going to be about shit. And now he's sitting here talking about he has to swap cars again, and he's trying to lower payments, and he's trying to do this, that, and the third, and he's as financially inept as Darkside Phil is. He just does it in a different way. You know, for all these car swaps and all this other bullshit he's doing, he could have literally owned his own patch of land, he could have owned his own home, and then he could have done whatever the fuck he wants. Instead, he wants to go out and buy his trucks. He wants to go out there and fantasize about buying his guns and all this other nonsense, and none of it means anything. And then, while all this is going on, what the hell did I tell you, chat? Because I don't want to curse at you guys. It's too early for that. But what the hell did I tell y'all, chat, about that whole fucking, that podcast? That shit is hinged on DSP. It's hinged on it. If you can't, because, and I don't want to let that shit, fuck it, I'll let it out the bag right now, screw it. DSP was meant to do the most of the heavy lifting. He's the one that's going to put out he's not going to, the topics will be presented to him by Keem and his team or whatever, and then he presents it to the other two. This right here feeds DSP's superiority complex, while him having the quote-unquote informed or even educated response, and then the other two kind of fumble around saying whatever they're saying. But you need DSP to make it work, because out of the three lolcows, DSP has the stronger viewer base, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? Like, Boogie would eventually, his fan base will eventually come along, not fan base, his viewer base will eventually come along. Wings of Redemptions, they'll eventually come along. But the DSP aspect of it is what's meant to carry the day. It's meant to establish the show and then carry the day until, you know what I'm saying? Until it builds the momentum. If you think differently, then Keem has already sold you on the marketing scheme. And that's exactly what Keem needed. And that's why Keem needed it to happen when it happened. Because if Keem didn't really give a fuck about what DSP said or thought, he wouldn't have even bothered to go over there on side scroll. What would have been the point? And then DSP had already admitted that he lied, and he knew that there was a podcast offer being presented out there. He's sitting there saying, oh, I didn't understand what the details were, or I didn't know the details, or I didn't hear from Keem. Even though Boogie went over there to break it down to you. So there's that. Anywho, so yeah, that whole fucking lolcow podcast, if it even happens, is hinged on DSP. This whole reunion of PKA, Kyle isn't gonna bite. Woody's sick, I think, or something along those lines. There's no benefit to it. And that in Wings has already destroyed what he was already being built up to do. You know what I'm saying? If he was still working out, if he was still motivated and ready for his next fight, Keem would have a reason to talk to him. And more importantly, PKA would find him, there'd probably be more movement for this whole reunion show for PKA. But it's not going to happen because this dumbass wants to sit there and eat his Wendy's and eat his fucking frozen pizza or whatever the case may be and cry and complain about how he can't hit his $130 a day. And if I can process all of this in the last like 5 hours, then goddamn, you know the average person watching that shit already sees through the bullshit. So it is what it is. Did I hear about the Illuminati thing? Yes, I did. She's a nut. She's a goddamn nut. Which usually what happens when you get the stripper off the pole and she believes she's smarter than what she is. Okay? She had a nice little niche going on, which was a bit hypocritical, but she had a nice little niche going on. And all she had to do was stick to it. But she felt the need to step up out of pocket. She forgot what her place was in the world, and there you go. And then the funny thing is, the person that she attacked, which was Legal Eagle, and his squad or his team or whatever, they're not even the ones that came for her neck. And then she wanted to accuse one of those other guys for saying the N-word, which he did, and they probably all did, and all whatever nonsense that they were doing outside of that. But she accused them of harboring pedophiles, and then allegedly she's doing that. And then people went after her sponsorship on Twitter and all that nonsense. Yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess, to be honest with you. It's a mess. She aimed too high when it came to the drama, and it came back on her. It is what it is. And Pokimane is doing the same dumb shit right now. Alright, quick thing about Pokimane. I need to just make a thing called like intermission or something, and that'll work. But quick thing about Pokimane. So Pokimane is sitting here mad at XQC because he went over there and took that kick deal, whether it's 100 million or 70 million or whatever it was. It's a big contract, it's a big deal. Now keep in mind, if you guys have been following that fuckhead almost fucked the whole deal up because the first big stream he had over there, it crashed. That's not his fault. The second stream that he had, he fucking thought it was a good idea to stream Dark Knight, like the entire fucking movie. Then like on his third stream, he thought he was gonna go back and forth with the administrators over there, which makes no goddamn sense. So I don't know if he's trying to tank his kick career or his kick streaming career like he did with his fucking Overwatch career. If you guys know, you know. I don't know if he's trying to tank that or what, or if he's just bored or whatever the fuck, but he need to figure his shit out because his ex-girlfriend's out here and it sounded like she ready to drop bombs on him. So he needs to figure that shit out. He's in a prime position to get his money right, on top of the fact that he can gamble over there. So I don't see what the issue is. Pokey, though, she wants to have this moral high ground nonsense on what she's doing. Supposedly her and XQC are smoothing it out. But she wanted to have some type of moral high ground about the situation. And did she forget that Twitch has partnerships with gambling sites? Not all of them. The ones that they don't have deals with, they don't fuck with. They don't allow you to deal with on their site. But there are plenty of gambling, slots, whatever case may be, type streams on Twitch. So how does she have a problem with XQC and Trainwreck gambling when there's gambling on Twitch? And they make quite a bit of money off of it. And then yeah, she can sit there and say, oh, well, Twitch benefits from Kick. That's not true. Amazon does. Matter of fact, sorry. It's a Gundam already, big ups to the Gundam, but It's a Gundam already did a video on it. But before him, I saw the thing on Twitter that Birdman was talking about, and then he ended up doing a video that essentially breaks all this down. We can go over that later if you like. So Pokemon's a hypocrite. She is mad because there's no attention on her, and then more importantly, she is essentially tethered onto Twitch. So she couldn't even make the move. And supposedly a contract might have been offered to her, and she had to turn it down because she's not available to do it. So whatever Pokey's problems are, this, that, and the third, I think it was just done for attention. This is just one of her Pokey moments. The problem is it kind of makes her look silly. Like, you know what I'm saying? She's supposed to be like this ruthless businesswoman, right? Who's extremely business savvy, who's supposed to be charming and charismatic and this, that, and the third, but it comes across as jealousy, and it comes across as being petty. And she should know better. But that's neither here nor there. Why does Wings hate his mom? And why does she hate? I think Wings, whatever the issue that Wings' mom has with him is probably, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even really tell. Outside of eating them out of house and home, I don't know what her initial issue is with that. Wings resents his mother because his mother doesn't show him the affection that she shows the other two kids. Like his brother, who has a substance abuse problem, and his sister, who, as far as I know, is normal. They get way more attention than he does. But when Wings was in his better days and money was really flowing, she fleeced Wings Jordy for everything that he had. Damn near. She bled him. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing that kept her from getting more was Brandy and Selena. Yeah, is it Branda? Sorry. Is it Brandy and Celine, I think. If it wasn't for them, she would have fleeced him for even more. So whatever the issue is with them, with their relationship, it's petty dumb shit, and I'm sure he didn't do much to help it. And you can't buy your parents' love, if that makes sense. If your parents resent you for whatever reason, then it is what it is. If you can't talk that out, then just keep it pushing. But that's one of the reasons why he stayed in that house, or that module mansion. That's why essentially she kept refinancing the shit from up and under him, and he dealt with it. Because he wanted her to see the value. But that doesn't make any sense because Wings doesn't see the value in himself. And if you don't value yourself, no one else will either. No one else will either. If you want to act like a doormat, people will treat you as such. And he never learned. And he's never going to learn. So, it is what it is. What's up, Black Doom? So, that's where that situation comes from. Wings just needs to just grow up. He just needs to grow up. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, you can't please everybody. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, his mother's bled him. You know, for what she got out of him, he could have had his own. But he couldn't. He can't. It's so much easier to be under her wing, even if she treats him like shit. It's easier to do it that way than go out there and be his own man. So, or at least that's my thought. I think she's resented Jordy for a number of years. This isn't anything new. This has been around for a while. Does she hate him outright? I don't know if I could go that far, but she definitely resents him. Yes, a mother should want the best for her kids, but I don't know the full details, and I don't know if anybody will ever find it, but something happened between the two of them, probably in his youth, leading into his teens and 20s, that has caused the problem. Whether Jordy has ran away boyfriends, whether she looked at him just as a burden in itself, who could say? But there's clearly not stable parenting going on out there, clearly. And if you just listen to Jordy and how he looks at life and shit, like the majority of how his mind is shaped is off Reddit, which explains why all the nonsense, quote unquote, shock jock pedo shit he used to do on PKA. And I'm still of the mindset that if Kyle and Woody were really his friend, they wouldn't have let him say that crazy shit. They would not have let him say that crazy shit over there. It just don't make no damn sense. Do you think, like, for example, let's say I got onto a podcast with Sunspot Gallery, or James the Lesser, or Agent Proper. You know what I'm saying? Or Hate Army, or anybody that I'm somewhat cool with. Do you think they let me talk all crazy like that? No, because you don't do that to people that you're cool with or the people you give a fuck about. You don't let people talk themselves nuts like that, especially online where you can't necessarily make that shit go away. So if those were really his people, they wouldn't have treated him like that. You know what I mean? You just don't let him say wild ass shit because he's fucking in the backwaters or wherever the fuck he's from. It don't work that way. Or it shouldn't anyway. Does it have to do with him being hefty? It could be, but it's really, I think, more of Jordy's attitude. Jordy's attitude is what makes him a fucking problem. And I think it always has. And I think when he was successful, he could hide it better. Just like you see with DSP. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, DSP's been a scumbag. But the problems and the issues, all the glaring shit, early detractors could only speculate on it because they didn't actually see it right away. They just saw, like, early symptoms. Later on, like, the next generation of detractors really saw it. The detractors who came after that generation, which I guess would be current, is dealing kind of with the fallout. It's kind of like that. Like, DSP has always been a piece of trash. You know what I mean? It was just when you got money and you have success and you feel like you've obtained or you've done something with your fucking life for the first time in your fucking life, you can hide it a little bit better. You know, or the mask was able to fit properly, I guess you could say. Excuse me. I can agree with that sentiment. I can agree with that. I can absolutely agree with that. That actually makes a lot of sense. But that's my thoughts on Wings in particular. But like I said, we can continue all of that as we move along. Oh, this helmet shit? This helmet right here, it's the representation of his true dent. This is what I think people like Derek and the rest of these guys really see when they see DSP. It's like the kind of one of us type nonsense, if you will. Honestly, I think that's what they see. I think that's why I chose it. It's a good representation of him. What do I think? What really convinces me? How Jordy explains his relationship with her, and especially the situation with that house. Now, this is going to be a hard video to find, but you may be, I mean, Lean had it, but I don't know if Lean's channel's even up anymore. Conway Conman had it too. So this is, I'm going back a number of years. But when Jordy was talking about how he was trying to get his mother to sign over ownership of the module mansion when he paid it off the last time, she was completely and utterly against doing it. And at this time, she was getting really sick. And Jordy was scared that, this is really going to sound really fucked up, but Jordy was more concerned with her dying and not signing over the property to him than her actually dying. And when you see someone come to that particular mindset, it tells you a lot about what your relationship is with that person, and or the resentment that kind of is latched between you. Because most children don't think that way when you find out that one of your relatives are sick. Now, don't be wrong, Jordy's dad is still alive. I don't know how often they talk, but he is still alive. But Jordy and his mother don't live far from each other. And especially when Gangster Grandma was still alive, they had at least a relationship where they spoke. Whether it was a good one or not is hard to say. But they were at least have some type of talking terms. But when the greed that goes on between that family, and especially between the two of them, is pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious, and that's kind of where I draw some of my conclusions from. Now, I would have to go and look on an old hard drive, or I have to speak to someone here at GTG Network and Productions who may know where I can find it, but it's in an old Lean video or a Conway Conman video, an old one, like talking easily 2018, 2019. If I could track it down, I will, and I'll definitely repost it. But that's where a lot of it comes from, to be honest. And the resentment, I think it's really one-sided. I really just think it's his mother's issue is with him, not necessarily the other way around. Oh, Derek got doxxed? I'm not, well, I didn't know he got doxxed. First off, not surprised by it, to be honest. It is what it is, to be honest. He's so deep in the abyss, I'm not surprised by any of that, to be honest. I'm not surprised by any of that. It's unfortunate, though. But, you know, you play as hard as he does with those porn stars, you know, shit, you expect bad shit to happen. Alright, here, let me go ahead and switch over. Let's go ahead and get some of these videos started. But great discussion, chat. Great discussion. Alright, chat. Big ups. What's up, Jesse? Alright, guys. So let's get to, let's go ahead and get to the beginning of all this. We are here with the Boglim Chronicles. That's Cobra. Well, it's the guy. It's one of the guys who follows Cobra. And let's see here. Begging for dollars with KingCobraJFS. This is from January 1st of 2023. Sorry, this is from June 1st of 2023, our current year of failure and gout and desperation. The link to the video will be down in the description. Oh my gosh. And we get that. And here we go. Now, chat, you guys know the rules.
What up, YouTube? We're live. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Check out the Grondike soap. They got a Memorial Day sale going on. Smells sexy for the ladies. Got Cash App and PayPal if you want to shout out. You don't have to donate, but it's greatly appreciated. Tapes to be shipping out soon. Have a couple left. So buy them up while you can. Shout out to William. Thank you for your $5. And Circle of Protection for your friend Rome and their kidney transplant. Thank you for your $5 to PayPal. Spencer, thank you for your 10 cents. Hey, Copes, got a question for you. I have a hot girlfriend that I've been dating for a year now, and apparently he's honestly bored of it, and he wants to get a side piece. I would advise against it. You got a hot girlfriend, cherish that shit, dude. I regret cheating on Stephanie. You don't even know. That was a really fucking dumb thing to do, but I've learned from it. Spencer, I wouldn't do it, man. It's not worth it. If you're bored of her, just break up with her before you make the move. Men get greedy on the dating scene, and they don't appreciate what they have until it's gone. I've moved on from Stephanie a long time ago, and I've learned from my ways. That's all you can do.
Okay. That was a bit unexpected, but I get what I get. That was my bad. Okay, so you guys know the rules. If it's too loud, whatever the case may be, let me know, and I will adjust it accordingly. Let's see here. Sorry about that. Really? Asmon Gold reacted to DSP? I heard that DSP was talking shit about him, so that's a thing. Big up, Goji. Let's see. I'm not sure if you're playing Street Fighter 6 yet, but I'm anxious to hear what your thoughts are on it. I'm worrying. I'm sorry. Let's reword this. I'm squaring away like the last bit of issues that I have on the main channel, and then I'm still recording videos. I just can't post them. I can't post them. Your boy got himself into some copyright issues and whatnot that I'm getting squared away. I mean, they didn't turn in the strikes, so I'm fortunate about that. But at the same time, though, too, the channel's not monetized or whatever the case may be. So it's like, if they want to have a claim on the video, they can do that. But I'd rather them do that than actually just take videos down. So I'm working that out. And they're talking to me, so it works out or whatnot. Well, they're talking to a member of the channel, I should say. I'm not actually speaking to them directly. Which is probably a good thing. Only because one of the channels, I should say, that claims me that's claiming some of my videos doesn't claim other people's videos, and I know why. But most people don't know why. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's reasonable for me to just speak through somebody else to talk to them than if I did it directly. Because I can be an asshole about that shit. But I tend to be a dick about it. Even though I'll speak to anybody who's willing to speak and have some common sense. But if you're kind of doing it because you're on some slick shit, or you think you can get away with some slick shit, it's not going to pan out. Especially when their channel has a history. Let me just say that. Alright, cool. So the audio's good, so let me get started. Like I said, here we go. Oh, my bad. One more question. How long have I been watching Cobra? Oh, what was my first Cobra video? First Cobra video. I know my first Cobra channel was Bite Size Cobra. Can't think of the first video I watched, but it's been a few years, I guess, at this particular point. To be honest, it's been at least a few years. So I'm not completely deep in the lore, but it is one of the things that I like to listen to, like on some of my off time and shit, catching up with it, because he does have his lore is kind of dense, but but there is something to it. To be honest, he's been around for a while, and some of it's kind of interesting, and it does explain why. He is but what he is. Speaking of which, big ups to Bite Size Cobra, and I hope that guy's all right, because he was in a car accident not too long ago, and Josh was out there laughing at that shit, saying that he deserves it. Despite all this troll nonsense or whatever, no one deserves to be in a car accident, and damn sure no one deserves to die over it. It's not that fucking serious. To be honest. But that just gives you an idea of what kind of piece of shit Cobra really is. But here, let's go ahead and get to it.
What up, YouTube? We're live. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Check out the Grondike soap. They got a Memorial Day sale going on.
I have to. J244K, I have to. I got to show that burrito one that he just did, that with the bugs infested in it. I've already talked about it at length so far, but I have to do it. I have to. You have to see the terror and whatnot in that shit. It's just, it's something to behold.
For the ladies. Got Cash App and PayPal if you want to shout out. You don't have to donate, but it's greatly appreciated. Tapes to be shipping out soon. Have a couple left. So buy them up while you can. Shout out to William. Thank you for your $5. And Circle of Protection for your friend Rome.
Was the car accident was just a troll? Oh wow! I thought that was. I honestly thought that was true. Holy shit! Well, I'm glad the dude's all right. And I did see Bite Size his podcast that he started. It was a good listen. To be honest, it was a good listen. I recommend it.
And their kidney transplants. Thank you for your
well, yeah, he's cooked with bugs before, but that's not the thing. He had made a burrito, or if you want to call it that. It had Spam, has some spicy fish in it, and God knows what else. And he left, and after he cooked it, and he left that shit out overnight, and that shit got infested with bugs. And he ate it. And he had to have seen the bugs that were in it, but he ate it anyway. It's terror. It's absolute fucking terror.
$5 to PayPal. Spencer, thank you.
Stream. Welcome to the podcast.
For your 10 cents. Hey, Copes, got a question for you. I have a hot girlfriend that I've been dating for a year now, and apparently he's honestly bored of it, and he wants to get a side piece. I would advise against it. You got a hot girlfriend, cherish that shit, dude. I regret cheating on Stephanie. You don't even know. That was a really fucking dumb thing to do, but I've learned from it. Spencer, I wouldn't do it, man. It's not worth it. You're bored of her.
This is Cobra when he's sober. When he's got some drinks in him, he's an absolute fucking maniac. On top of that, to sum up Stephanie, Stephanie is essentially his Pandalee. Essentially, she was completely and totally into him. He could essentially do no wrong, and him and a friend decided to double team some chick, some pregnant chick, if I remember the story correctly, and that's what fucked up the relationship. And if I remember correctly, Stephanie got back at him for that by sleeping with one of Cobra's friends. I think she gave him. I think she let her hit. She let him go to the back door on her as revenge. I think. I mean, I may need to brush up on it, but it was interesting how they essentially both use sex as a weapon, more or less. It's some pretty interesting shit. It's some pretty interesting shit.
Just break up with her before you make the move.
Proper. I plan on watching that Derek video later, but I've heard. Well played, sir. Well played.
Men get greedy on the dating scene, and they don't appreciate what they have until it's gone. I've moved on from Stephanie a long time ago, and I've learned from my ways. That's all you can do. I was not encouraging it, Joseph. Thank you for your $1. I was reading off a nasty comment of one of my trolls telling me to do some messed up shit, you know? I responded with you first. And fuck sickos. Joe, thank you for your $1 to Cash App. You ever gonna do the chocolate review? Those are laxative chocolates, so no. You know, kids about my.
So someone sent him a care package, right? Because Cobra does that. People do that, and they sent him a box of these. They sent him a box of chocolates and whatnot. It looks like chocolates too. And they sent him a bunch of other stuff too. But yeah, they turned out to be laxatives. If I remember correctly, people had said they were laxatives from the jump in the comment section of whatever video I was watching. So apparently whether he figured that out the easy way or the hard way is hard to say. But he eventually figured it out.
YouTube trolls, they get a taste of their own fucking medicine and they hate it. Harley, thank you for your $40. Appreciate it. Lois, $1.34. That's what's up. In the documentary, I did a new cooking video. Did a double down chicken sandwich on my new documentary. Turned out delicious. I wish I would have made it a little bit more crispy on the skin by frying it up more. And
okay, this right here is the mark of the Boglim. It's a foot rash that he's had for. I want to tell you he's had it for the better part of a year. And every once in a while it clears up, but it comes back. And the thing is because he don't bathe, which is gout. The manifestation of gout. It's definitely a rash, and it's a bad one too because he can't make it go away. But he don't like to bathe. He doesn't like to wash his clothes. So, there it goes. I'm surprised it hasn't spread to other parts of his body, but maybe it has. Who could say?
Using less sauce and then letting it cool off before trying to sandwich it. But outside of that, it was fucking delicious. Don't have any money for alcohol. I would do a memorial drink combo if the rest of my tapes sold out. Buy a tape, yo. Most women are going to have a hard time finding a man to date only because if you make more money than they do doing OnlyFans and you got like 10,000 dudes staring at your tits, most guys are not going to be okay with that. I'm actually in jeans, believe it or not. Creating an OnlyFans page to show off your boobs and your pussy and your ass.
Now, a little bit about Cobra. He's addicted to his porn and to his what do they call them? To his live chat pages and all that bullshit too. His cam girls sites, I should say. So I wouldn't be surprised if him and Derek have crossed paths at one time or another. But keep in mind, he's in on all that shit too. He's deep into the porn, deep into the shit. Like someone said or it was implied in one of Cobra's videos that basically the dude beat his dick so much that he was literally like peeling the skin off of it and it was starting to bleed in certain areas. Like kind of like how Cyrax's head is all fucked up. It's kind of like that with Cobra and his masturbating. Like he's taking that shit to some obscene levels, allegedly. Beat his dick like it owed him money or something. That's some DSP shit.
I realize that being a trad wife was so much easier than standing up 80.
Yeah, I've been told that tactical soap has a lot of uses. So I don't know if he doesn't understand how lubrication works or whatever the case may be. But holy shit!
Fucking feet in the air, putting rivets into a building in like 85.
Yeah. You're right, Herman. He has done that. I've seen only clips of it, but he has done that. Well played, sir. Well played.
To 100-degree weather while your male coworkers make sexual comments about you doing that shit. It's the truth. But shout out to your favorite son and his.
I'm gonna beat my dick like a Cherokee drum. Good shit. Good shit, Mr. No Views. Good shit.
Friend and their friend, they seem like really nice people. They were more than generous with me, and I think we filmed a pretty solid documentary. They're going to send me the final cut before it airs. Anything I don't like in the documentary will be edited out and fixed. Not sure when that's going to debut and drop, but you'll get a new cooking video. Can you say Doritos Double Down Chicken Sandwich? It was a very lengthy recipe to film, too, man. The crew was here till like 9 o'clock at night filming, and they're like, I didn't realize it took so long to make a cooking video. And I'm like, yes. $54
now,
worth that.
Let me just put this out there for you guys. This guy does not know how to eat. I mean, it's bad enough that he doesn't know how to cook, but, it is what it is. But he doesn't know how to eat. He eats utter garbage, straight trash. Matter of fact, I think I just saw Ann Leeton here. Big ups to him. But he'll tell you, because he's seen some of Cobra's cooking videos, fucking Cobra eats absolute trash. Garbage. Like garbage. Like the average person wouldn't be able to stomach what Cobra eats. And truth be told, because his alcoholism and his drug use is so fucking messed up too, I wouldn't be surprised if he can't stomach it himself. But it's hard to say.
Come from people. Damn, PayPal hooking it up. That's what's up. Thank you, Aaron, for your $34.21.
Yo, Ox, wait a second. Did Ann actually try to make something that Cobra cooked? Is that true? God bless him for that. I would not have tried that. There is nothing I've seen Cobra make that I would even attempt. And I saw his what was it? His mozzarella stick shit cooking video he did, which he completely botched, by the way. I saw that and I wouldn't have even tried to eat that. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage. And he knows it. He knows it's trash. It's absolute trash. Yeah, I've seen the candy calzone thing. He's seen it. This is what happens when you try to emulate shit, I guess is the point of it. He doesn't understand why he does things the way he does it. He's just seen other people do it and he's trying to emulate it. And because of that is the reason why he's in the position that he's in. You know what I'm saying? Because like his stomach has to be all fucked up. It has to be all fucked up.
Seek repose, wary traveler. Take this purse of shekels and get some ale to fill your ram's horn and a turkey leg to fill your belly. That's most definitely what's up. That's more than enough money to do what I want to do tonight, so hell yeah, that'll work out nicely. I might get some alcohol after my stream, but we'll see how I feel.
Now, for any of you who follow Cobra, He said on many occasions, usually when he's drinking, oh, I need to cut back. Oh, I don't need to drink all the time. I'm completely in control of it. Yada, 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 yada. You only get bitch-made, broke-ass streams like this when the dude has no money. And when he doesn't have any money, he's even more irritable, to be honest with you. At times, I should say. He can kind of keep his composure a bit when he's sober, but at the same time, listening to him for a period of time makes you understand why he wants to drink and stay drunk, essentially. Because the trolls really get at him. Like, they cut him deep. And it's because he just doesn't know how to handle. He doesn't know how to deal with it. He makes it worse than what it is. But that's just a lol cow trait. Alright, there we go. Big ups to Boglim. And then that's another lol cow when they are broke. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into some of that breaking banquet. That breaking banquet. Big ups to everybody in the chat. Let's see. How many? We have one. Hold on, I only have one video for you guys? And that should be good enough. Alright, so we're here with Breaking Banquet. Wings of Redemption used to claim Rainbow Six skins on his taxes. There's more to it than that, but you'll see why I picked it out in a minute. This is from June 9th of 2023, our current year of gout, failure, and despair. The link will be down in the description. Let's see here. No, I think Howard... truth be told, I think first off, Howard's is John's friend more than anything else. So let's establish the grounds with that. I think Howard wanted to like DSP, but I think he also can see through DSP too. I think he saw DSP for what he was, and he was only willing to tolerate him for John's sake. To be honest, I think that's what it really comes down to. Not to say though that, like I said, Howard didn't try. You know what I mean? But clearly he saw DSP for what he was and whatnot. And then when you get into the Project 7 nonsense, when they went over to Phil's condo, you see all this shit everywhere and the new car outside and all that bullshit. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It cemented probably what he's always thought about DSP from the get-go. You know what I mean? DSP has always been a piece of shit. Like, the dude has legitimately always been a piece of shit. And he always falls back on the idea that I didn't know. No one told me. How can I change something if I don't know about it? Or whatever other petty, lame-ass excuse that comes into his head. And that right there, it's just the alleviation of responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Like, he talks like he's pragmatic, right? But he has no clue about what it's like to be practical. Especially in a social atmosphere. Look at this nonsense when it comes to his money in retirement. Yet again, oh, well, instead of saving up for retirement, oh, I can do this forever. I can just switch to something else and people will still watch it, so I never have to worry about stopping. That's not retirement. And it clearly comes from the idea that he doesn't have a plan. But why you would blame your parents and saying that their economic situation rolled down to you, so you never understood the value of saving or putting money away for retirement or whatever other nonsense that came out of that. We're going to go over it today, actually. It's a level of ignorance and being just despicable for the sake of doing it. And that's the reason why I say it's vile, but I stand by it. It's reasons like that I say that his mother should have swallowed or his father should have pulled out. They could have had whatever that period of time that he was conceived. If they had waited a couple of days, they may have had somebody who was a winner. They may have had someone who was willing to make something of themselves. Instead, they got this piece of shit. They got this piece of sludge who doesn't see any value in doing anything because doing anything is already too much. You know what I mean? Like, how the fuck do you pull in between, you know, $8,000 and $10,000 a month and you don't know how to put money away for retirement? But then again, this is the same idiot who can't put money to the side for taxes. Think about that. This is the same dude who's been married to Kat since what? 2019, I think is when they got married? 2018, 2019. When they got married, no, it's 2019. It's 2019 because she moved in 2018. They've been married since 2019 and they never had a honeymoon. And you look at what he makes, there's no reason why they couldn't. And he just keeps putting it off. He keeps putting it off. He keeps putting it off. And he keeps making excuses and all this, that, and the third. He's never going to do it because he don't want to do it. If he really wanted to go to Evo, for example, he'd go. He'd go. If he really wanted to travel somewhere, he would go. If he can't do it on someone else's dime while making up the money that he's going to lose while being gone, there's no value in him doing it. It's pure and simple. It's basic mathematics. It's gaudy mathematics, but it's mathematics. And that's what his problem is. Now, here's the thing. Like, okay, in a social environment, right? Like, do you expect, is everybody going to be completely and utterly socially conscious about about the people that's going on around them? That depends. If you're in a face-to-face conversation with someone, you can pick up on nuances, right? Stuff in their face, stuff in their body language, right? That gives you an indication of irritation, hesitation, whatever the case may be. You don't have to be, you don't have to be an expert at reading people to pick up on those subtleties, right? That's why DSP wants to keep everybody at arm's length. That's why everybody needs to reach out to him by email. He doesn't want to get on the phone and talk to someone because if he hears any agitation in their voice whatsoever, he's going to immediately want to break away from it. You know what I'm saying? Doing everything by email, it gives him another safeguard. It's another barrier, if you will, from social interaction because he doesn't actually want to talk to people because he's scared to. He's scared to talk to people. He's scared to hear people say what they really think or feel about something about him himself or something that he's saying or something that he's doing because he can't handle it. He can't handle criticism. He never has been able to do that. No one's fucking perfect, first off and foremost. Nobody walking this earth is perfect. And there will always be someone that will have something to say about you. You either take that in and work on it or you move on it. Period. If you want to sit there and dwell about it and sit there and lament about it and sit there and get yourself mad and whatever, that's on you. But that's no way to live. Not everybody you meet's going to like you. Not everybody who talks to you may want to talk to you again. Whatever. They just stepped into a person who just stepped into your life. If they walk out of your life within like the same few minutes, what did you lose? Nothing. But DSP don't want to lose nothing. He wants everybody to like him. He wants everybody to respect him. He wants everybody to acknowledge his existence. Life is too short to be doing that, especially to someone who craves that. You know what I'm saying? Especially someone who goes throughout their life needing people to praise them or respect them for every little fucking thing. No one has time to give you social participation points or social participation stars or whatever the fuck you want to call it. There isn't enough time in a day to do that. There's not. You do not, ladies and gentlemen, you do not have enough fucks in your life to do that. And DSP don't see that. And that's why he crying about Zelda and all that other lame ass shit. That's why Wings needs a pat on his head every time he does a good thing. And he needs someone to say, you're a good boy. And I'm glad you're doing something. Instead of being man enough to do that himself. If you can't propel yourself forward, no one else is going to. Even people who are sympathetic to you or feel bad for you or pity you or whatever, they will only do it to a certain point. If you don't understand that, especially at DSP's age, then you're destined to fail. You're going to wake up one day and no one's going to be there. And the few social rejects that are around you, like Derek, they're going to barely have enough money to keep their own porn subscriptions up. How the fuck are they going to support you? But we'll see. Alright, let's go into this Wings video. God Stop me ranting. Here we go.
Kyle pretty much said nothing, and then Woody asked no reaction, and like when he starts drinking, he also starts playing WWE Champions. Then I would get back for like claiming rainbow skins at this point in my life.
Fantastic point. He doesn't want anybody to speak against or speak on anything that he himself is saying. He's scared of pushback. He's scared of anybody just having a chance to talk back to him. Exactly. So why did you even get married? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, your spouse is always going to have something to say. Good, bad, or otherwise. You know what I'm saying? And it's probably a good thing he didn't have kids. It's probably a very good thing he didn't have kids because he had lost his fucking mind. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. My fault, guys. If you need me to bring it down, I can bring it down. Let's see here. Let's try it at a... Let's try it at that.
Say my name.
Breaking Banquet.
You're goddamn right.
I watched the clip where Taylor talked about him going on the dating website, and I think the reaction from the guys was terrible, right? Kyle pretty much said nothing, and then Woody asked how it hurt him financially. It's not like, are you doing okay, man? I'm sorry that your long-term relationship didn't work out. You know, it's fucked up that somebody wanted
Okay, a little bit of context. So Tyler, who's the third man on this show, PKA, apparently his wife, who was sick at the time, I don't know if she had cancer or whatever, I don't have the full details on that, but she was sick, and apparently she was creeping on him. And the consensus at the time, from people on the outside looking in, is like, damn, she was sick, Tyler was taking care of her and standing by her like you're supposed to, and she was creeping. And when Tyler decided to tell the rest of the guys on PKA, they were kind of like, yada, yada, yada. What the fuck are you supposed to say? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you respond to that? Hey, I'm sorry that your wife's sick. I'm also sorry that she cheated on you. What am I supposed to tell you? Like, am I supposed to tell you, oh, drop that bitch? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you want me to tell you? Like, if she decides to leave, then she decides to leave. If you guys decide to work it out, then you guys decide to work it out. There's not really much else to say about it. You don't want to do anything to influence his decision. It's a fucked up situation because he's literally in a catch-22. She's sick, and if he leaves her while she's sick, he's going to look like an asshole. Then again, she was cheating. So what do you really do in that? And so Wings here is saying, oh, it's fucked up, you know, that they didn't give him better advice or they didn't actually, you know, tell him anything. What do you say to him in that situation? Like, what do you actually say to somebody like that? Or under those, you know, under that situation? Or under those circumstances, I should say.
cheat on you while you were there for them, you know, whole thing. But like no reaction, and then asking how it's affecting him like financially is the wrong fucking move. It's just the wrong fucking move. Do I think Siege will ever die out? Yes. I think Siege is already in the process of dying. I'm basically a Redditor. I don't consider myself a Redditor because like that would mean that me using a website is part of my identity, and it's not.
It is.
That's like
it is
saying I'm a PlayStation, I'm a Sony pony, but I'm not a Sony pony. It's one of these things. Thought about DSP switching PayPal accounts for the week during 1K well donations occurring. Was he avoiding chargebacks or skating taxes? That wouldn't work either way. Let me get to your question. I'll get right back to your question, Chucky. Thank you for the 5. I love you, Wings. Kyle needs to stop watching TV and do things in real life like you. You have to do things to be entertaining.
Okay,
like,
real quick.
Like
now the whole thing with DSP switching PayPal accounts, I assume, because I think when it happened, I said that more likely were chargebacks. But wasn't Game Tracker under, or I think that's their Game Tracker, or whatever? Wasn't he saying that he was having problems donating for whatever reason? I don't know if they thought that he was like doing money laundering or whatever the case may be. But he had got himself into some situation where he couldn't tip for a period of time, and his bank had put a hold on him. I mean, if you tip someone $30 or $29.99 every single fucking day, somebody's going to wonder, what the fuck are you doing? Like, sooner than later. So, it is what it is. Big ups, Hate Arby. Holy shit. So, I'm not surprised by any of that, to be honest. I'm surprised. Actually, I'm surprised Only Iced Coffee never had that problem. But if he did, he never said anything. So, womp womp.
You got to be constantly be changing or adjusting your life. PayPal, you have to put in a tax identification number, and even if you had multiple accounts, they would all be tied to you or to your bank account. So all of would go. They all get PayPal pays out 1099K. So at the end of the year, they send you a W-2, well, a 1099K, stating how much money went through your PayPal account. That was a net positive. So like changing PayPal accounts has nothing to do with skirting taxes, or you can't use it to skirt taxes because of that. Again, regardless, what you're trying to say is he has, like, that is one way that could happen, I guess, Chucky. You could be right about that. He could be using an LLC on his PayPal account and a personal PayPal account there, but he would get two different 1099Ks. So you could skirt a little taxes, but it's not illegal what he's doing if he's doing it that way. Because, like, depending on how he pays himself with his LLC, that the money would still be taxed, if that makes sense.
You think DSP has an LLC? As much content as you've watched so far, Jordy, you still think he has an LLC? Holy shit. Oh, the delusion amongst cows is incredible.
How do I feel about DSP saying I was a bum? Like, a lot of people call me a bum, Josh. Like, I'm 37, I'm married, I have my own home, I have my own land. I mean, there isn't a gate between me, but at the same effect, I don't have to call my daddy to learn how to change a tire. Phil does that kind of mess.
Shots fired. Oh, shots fired, Wings or Jordy. But I have to. I not that I want to defend DSP, and I'm not doing that. But I gotta say that module mansion ain't yours. You only own a quarter of it, so that ain't yours. You know what I'm saying? It still belongs to mommy. You're still living in her house, so let's cut the bullshit. In the land, I don't even want to speak on that because I think the land is hers too. So I'm just putting it out there. Chat, I am not defending DSP in any type of way, shape, or form, but I just want to put it into perspective. You know what I'm saying? You're 37. You went sat there and begged for surgery money and still put the weight back on after having the surgery, right? You married a woman who you called a couple of years ago or a few years previous Smelly Kelly because you thought you could do better or you could get better, and then you settled for her because of life medical insurance. The module mansion is falling apart. It's been mortgaged 3 fucking times that you had to pay off each and every time, and you're in a financially desperate situation now. So yet again, not trying to defend DSP, I'm just putting it out there.
Phil would moved across the fucking country to try to save on taxes. Donations are taxed. Donations are looked more as tips than actual donations. Because unless you're like a tax-free organization like a church or something, everything's looked at as like a tip. Like you're a waitress or something.
Oh shit, you know what? Ghost Hunter, I didn't even notice that. I don't know where the doorknob is. Maybe that's how he keeps Pikachu from escaping. I don't know. That's a good. That's a good question. That's a really good question.
Sure. That's exactly why he moved to Washington. No income tax. I just think Phil never had anybody. Like, I think Phil hides his problems with alcohol, right? And when he hides his feelings with alcohol, it's a double-edged sword because one, he doesn't have anxiety thinking about this money has to last, or what about next month or tomorrow, whatever it might be. What if, the transmission went out in my car? So there's never a savings account or like an emergency account. And like when he starts drinking, he also starts playing WWE Champions. And WWE Champions ends up costing him a second mortgage. Why would DSP use a personal PayPal for a week if he wasn't doing something sus? I report him to the IRS for specific info. Hopefully they catch on. That's a little rough, Chuck, honestly. Again, like if you have two different PayPal accounts, they would both be taxed. The only thing about it is like one would be taxed at a higher rate than another. But that's determining if Phil actually uses his LLC to pay himself and not use it as just this is.
And here's the thing, though, too. And this is massive cope. You're absolutely fucking right. Does anybody know? Because I've never heard Jordy talk about it. Does Jordy have an LLC? I'm just asking. I'm just asking because he's giving DSP a whole lot of fucking credit, and he's trying to give him wiggle room, which is very obvious. But do you have an LLC yourself, or are you kind of just shooting off the hip of something that you heard from somebody else? I'm just curious.
I dealt with a lot of young men back in the day that had LLCs, which is a limited liability corporation, that they only had like a company in name only versus like a company that actually acted as a company. Like the reason you have an LLC is so like if something was to happen, they would sue the LLC and you just file bankruptcy on the LLC and not have it affect your personal life. That's why they're called limited liability corporations. But like a lot of people would just have an LLC set up and they would just take all the money all the time and not use it as like a business account and pay themselves. I just don't see where Phil would be breaking any tax code by having two different PayPal accounts if one is his LLC and one isn't. He would get taxed, but like he'd probably get taxed at a lesser fraction, but like it's perfectly legal in the United States what he's doing. How's the roof coming, Pimp? My roof is completely fixed. My homeowner's
Yeah, the way
insurance.
he talks about paying himself kind of reminds me of like if you opened up like a foundation or something, right? Like if you won the lottery and then you decided to open up like a. I'm not saying you open up yourself like a foundation or like a trust, and then you kind of paid yourself through that. I don't know if he's confused or what, which leads me to wonder does he have an LLC, because he's kind of shooting from the hip. And it's pretty obvious.
Covered it for hail damage. You can write stuff off for your business, especially if you have an LLC. Jack, I'll get right to your question here in a second.
And DSP is a sole proprietor, right? Pretty sure he's a sole proprietor.
For me personally, I have such low overhead for my business that it's easier just to file the standard deduction with marriage than it is to
why did Wings give up on boxing? Because he's afraid that he's going to run into someone who's actually going to put the work to him. To be honest, like him fighting Boogie was what I said it was. It was a spectacle. It wasn't anything to be taken seriously. He essentially beat a walking punching bag who didn't hit back. Now he's sitting here. He was going around for a few weeks saying, "Oh, well, now I got hands. People know I got hands." He don't. But anyway, he's saying that he got hands, and he was concerned that the next person that he's gonna end up fighting is gonna train hard, and they're gonna beat the brakes off him, which they probably will. But that's why you're getting paid to do it. So it is what it is. And the thing is, he has options. There's a bunch of guys he could fight. Even, and speaking of which, too, now that I'm bringing that up, anybody have any update whatsoever, chat, on the situation between Review Tech USA and Quarter Pounder? Is that fight off? Are they still going to fight? What's going on? Because the way I heard it, one of the guys over there with Sam Hyde's partner or whatever, let it slide or let it slip that they were training Jeremy, or they were going to. Review Tech USA went on the pretense that, oh, well, because you guys already said it, I'm gonna go ahead and just basically say it too, or I'm gonna expound upon it. Keemstar gets pissed off because he's like, hey, that wasn't supposed to be said. Why are you guys even talking about it? And Review Tech's like, that's not my fault. They were the ones who let it slip. Talk to them. That ain't got shit to do with me. I'm just repeating what's already out there. So, I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Yeah, Jet. That's his name. Jet ended up outing him. Yeah, probably not. Oh well, it's probably going to be a boring fight anyway.
Would get back for like claiming rainbow skins at this point in my life. Jack Johnson, who would win, LTG or Keemstar, and what? A fight business agreement. I'm assuming a fight. I'm going with Low Tier God over Keemstar in a fight. Keemstar is probably about 5'10", 5'11". Low Tier God is over 6 feet tall. And, Keemstar is getting his workout game on now, but I just feel like Low Tier God has his workout game on point. I think Low Tier God wins that fight. Thoughts on Rodeo music? I don't know what that is. Keem ain't 5'8". Keem is 5'10", 5'11". Like, Boogie is 5'9"-ish, and Keem is taller than Boogie. I'm 6 foot. So, like, if you look at me standing next to Boogie, there's about 3 or 4 inch difference. Thoughts on Cat C15? I don't know what you're referring to. If Keem spit my wife's, if DSP spit my wife's face, what my next course of action would be to give him a combo, 2 pieces and a biscuit, because spitting in somebody's face is considered assault. So I'd be well in my rights to defend her. I don't know anything about Caterpillar diesel engines. I'm not very knowledgeable about most diesels. I think EDP deserves
Great screenshot. Hate Army, I'll check that out. I do want to actually, check that out and see what's said about that, because it's been a while. As it pertains to who would win between LTG and Keem, they're probably closer in age than one would say, because Low Tier God is older than what he lets on, allegedly, and I don't know where LTG's cardio is at, to be honest. I'm not sure where his cardio is. Because you can throw a lot of punches in 60 seconds, and you can get winded or blown up in a round easily. So, though on paper, it may look like LTG's in the better shape, it depends. I guess it really depends on what that dude's cardio is like, to be honest. It really depends on what his cardio is like. But Keem at this age probably shouldn't be trying to throw hands with anybody anyway, truth be told. I'm not sure if what's up, Robert? I'm not sure if LTG is 40. I'm not sure if he's that old, but I know he's up there. Or he's getting up there. Because he was running around for a while. I think he was saying he was like in his early 30s or whatever the case may be. He may very well be older and whatnot. I know there was some type of discrepancy in what his age was. He's 39. What's up, Deba? Alright, so dude's 39. So I'm not sure. Or 38. Okay, we'll say he's in his late 30s. But I'm not sure if the fight is going to be as dominant as Wings would let off. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. You know what I'm saying? I really don't, because I feel like a couple of good shots to LTG's ribs, and that's when you'll really start to test it. Everybody wants to go for the headshot, but really the body blows, because you can't train your body to take massive hits to the liver and shit. There's shit you just can't avoid. You know what I'm saying? So that's why the Spinks Crawford fight is going to be really, really good, because Spinks is known as the body snatcher. So I'm anxious to see what that was. Wings was talking about LTG versus Keemstar. So I wouldn't expect too much out of that fight. But I don't think it's the easy win though for LTG as he's making it sound. I don't think it's that cut and dry.
An ass kicking, but I don't think anybody would pay him to get his ass beat. I'd like to see EDP versus Billy the Fridge. Since they used to be boys, let Billy the Fridge take all that aggression out on him. Shit, I'd fight EDP. Dude, DSP doesn't want to work with anybody because DSP doesn't want to lose any kind of creative control. And the fact is, if DSP had to be in something like...
DSP and creative in the same sentence. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Fish tank, you'd see his alcoholism come out. Because when people that are alcoholics get into a situation where they can't consume alcohol, they get this thing called the shakes. And DSP would be shaking like a leaf on a tree if he had to be like 2 or 3 days without his gin. If my blood's dipping at all, like I haven't got hypoglycemic in a while because I've been taking my one-a-days, and I also have been taking my vitamin D's. I want to show this one. This one has addresses and stuff on it. But I've been taking my 50,000 vitamin D. I've been taking my one-a-days. As long as I keep my blood right, I don't get hypoglycemic. But if I neglect some of my stuff or my medicine, I do. Who would win a fight, you or Penguin Zero? I would beat his ass.
Oh no, I agree. I agree 100%. about DSP doesn't want to relinquish control. That's a great screenshot. That's a great screenshot. But to say that is creative control, that's a little bit different. That's now we're reaching. We are reaching. DSP is probably one of the most least creative people, not just lolcows, but people that I've certainly ever seen. That's why he's so dependent on the audience. The same audience that he hates. Which is funny, if you think about it. But what you gonna do? Oh, look, him going outside to get natural vitamin D? Nah. He wants to be like DSP, be a fucking vampire, and kind of deal with that nonsense. Just deal with the regular nonsense. That's a great screenshot, though. I'm gonna need to clip that. What is this? This is at the 7:46 mark. I'm gonna need to clip that shit. That's funny. Why is Wings depressed? Wings is depressed because he's the failure that everybody says that he is. And he thought, as most people did, that this fight would turn things around. It did, kinda. But you still have to work at it. It's just like with your weight loss, right? Like you lose 5 pounds and you're happy about it, right? Well, you got to keep going to lose 10 pounds, to lose 15, to lose 20. It's going to be constantly a work in progress, as is life. And Jordy is a lot like Wings. Jordy's a lot like Wings. Jordy's like DSP. He wants to have all of the caveats of success and not actually have to work for it. He wants to do, if he does anything, there should be instant gratification or an instant reward. Nothing else outside of that. And because of that is the reason why his ass is where he's at now. And I can't remember what video it is, but we will go over it later on. He talks about how he didn't like the work, he didn't like working out, he didn't like punching the bag, he didn't like doing any of that shit. But if you go back to the early, like around the time period that he was actually doing it, he said that he was okay with it. He liked the idea that he was losing weight and he was feeling better and this, that, and the third. And so he turns out to be the fraud and the liar that everybody thought he was. So I can't remember what Wings troll I was speaking to. Big ups to them, though. And they were right. They were like, hey, man, he's going to end up floundering in a few weeks, I promise you. And like I said, big ups to whoever that was. I can't think of who it was at the moment. But they were right. They called that shit immediately. And they called it exactly how they said it was going to be. So, definitely, you know. And whatnot. And like I said, this was supposed to be their big redemption arc, and he floundered on it because he couldn't live up to it. He knew he couldn't live up to it. So, and I think that's where it comes from. And that's if he's even really depressed, to be honest with you. I don't think he's as let me reword this. I don't think he's dealing with as much as he says he does. He just needs to get his ass outside and walk. You know what I'm saying? He needs to get some exercise. He needs to get his testosterone up. He needs to do something, but more than what he's doing now. And he'd feel better. But he has to be willing to do that. And he's not. He's okay with being miserable. He's okay with people calling him a fucking loser. He's okay with all that nonsense. And it goes back to what El Presador said about him years ago. That he's a waste of space. That when the going gets tough, he's going to sit there and fall back and flounder. And that's exactly what happened. And it's unfortunate because, and I'll try to be brief about this, Wings, in back in the day, is kind of one of your earlier pioneers when it comes to, not just only to live comms or dual comms, but to camping, the actual style itself. You can call it strategic movement now, but he's kind of a pioneer of that. At a time where rushing was heavily promoted and endorsed. He was someone who found quite a bit of success through camping. And he got self-conscious about it when you had your Randy Savages and you had some of these other guys putting up these high kill gameplays by rushing with shotguns or with submachine guns or pushing hard with ARs or whatever the case may be. And Jordy's not a rusher because he doesn't think well on the fly like that. Wings' advantage is finding a spot and holding it down, or playing anchor, if you will. That's his advantage. That's his bread. That's his bread and butter. That's his place in life. And he should have been happy with that. You're always going to have criticism, but he should have just taken that on the chin and moved on. Instead, he got upset about it, and then he started doubting himself, and then he started overreaching, and then he needed things in his life to make him feel better. More guns, more trucks, women who didn't really like him or care about him. And he ended up screwing himself over. That's literally what happened. That's literally what happened. It's sad, but that's really what it comes down to.
Be a fight. Dude's like 160
Yes,
pounds.
exactly. Wings is very much his own worst enemy. Very much so. He put all this pressure on himself for nothing. For a group of people who don't even care. That's the thing. Most people don't even remember any of the things that I'm saying now, nor do they care. But he do. He do. And then he wants to sit there and blame it on the trolls for his fuck up. Like Webby, for example. And if Wings don't chill the fuck out, Cheese is gonna turn into the next Webby. Because Webby was someone who gamed with him, he was cool with him, he dealt with a lot of bullshit until Webby couldn't handle it no more. And then then Webby came for his pound of flesh, or his pound of Wendy's chili, or whatever you want to call it. He got that. And if he keeps fucking around treating Cheese like shit, Cheese is eventually going to do it too. And if you also look at the caliber of gameplay as it pertains to Rainbow Six, now compared to back in the good old days with Carry the Diamond, truth be told, his teammates aren't of the same caliber. But even more importantly than that, Wings himself has declined in not only of map knowledge or awareness, but in gun skill and gunplay. And he knows it, but it's easier to blame the opponents, or blame the teammates, I should say. So where DSP is bitching and complaining about every goddamn game, but Street Fighter 6 in particular, Wings does the same thing with Rainbow Six. And that's really what ties them together, to be honest with you, in a lot of ways.
Like, it all depends on where the fight would happen. If the fight happened in like a small room or a ring, I'm winning. If it happened in a parking lot, he'd win, because he'd wear me out running away. How do I get a real 5K box Phil at a gym? Honestly, if I could get Phil to fight, I could get Phil money. I guarantee you I could get Phil at least $15,000 to fight right now. Right now. Anybody. It doesn't matter who. He could fight Panda Lee, far as I care. I could get him $15,000 to fight right now. I can't 100% guarantee it, but I can 90% guarantee I can get $15K in Phil's pocket if he'd agree to a fight. Well, the fact is, you can't look at it like that. You got to look at it like work-wise. Like, all you got to do is 4 days of work for that $15K. You got to do your weigh-in. You got to cut some promos. You got to do your weigh-in. You got to cut some promos. You got to do like a press conference. And then you got to show up and fight. Like, $15K is good for 4 days of work. Like, because nobody expects Phil to win. I'm always trying to lose weight. Problem is, I'm really good at finding that shit too. Dog, I don't know. Like here's the thing with Phil. Like, he can make easy.
How are you gonna? I'm sorry. I almost missed that. How the fuck are you gonna get DSP $15,000 and you can't even get yourself $15,000? How does that work? I almost let that go. I was like, wait a second. He could. I was like, okay, yeah, he could go to Keemstar and then this, and this, but then Keem wouldn't talk to DSP directly, or he wouldn't be able to, I should say. So how would you, like, how does that make sense? DSP turned down Keem for $50,000 and a fourth of a podcast that could have made you guys hundreds of thousands of dollars later on down the line. How the fuck are you going to be able to get DSP in the ring for $15,000? All right.
Money. We'd have 16-ounce gloves. There'd be there's a doctor at the side of his corner. There's cutmen. Like, you seen how bad I put it on Boogie. And Boogie came out without a scratch on his face. His eyes weren't swollen, didn't break his nose or anything. I mean, he probably got his bell rung really bad. But the gloves are basically pillows. So, like, he wouldn't hurt himself at all. The only thing to get hurt is his pride. He's got a bad back. Dude, I fought Boogie with a pinched nerve in my hip. I pretty much couldn't pivot to my right side. He'll be alright. Phil ain't gonna last 12 rounds, dog. You might as well call it. You might as well do 3 2-minute rounds. No person that isn't conditioned to box is going to do 12 rounds. Do you believe Cyrex?
I don't know if DSP can make it through 2 3-minute rounds. I don't think he could do that. Honestly. Actually, I'm pretty confident that he can't do it. If DSP made it past the second round. Chat, if DSP, in hypothetical pignosis, of course, if DSP was able to make it past the second round, I'm sending champagne to your favorite detractor's favorite detractor, if that's the case. I will send a bottle of champagne to each and every one of your favorite detractor's favorite detractor if he was able to get past that second round. That's how confident I am that DSP would never be able to make it past 4 minutes in that ring. No way. No way. Even if he has to keep his arms up to prevent himself from getting hit, there's no way in hell he's doing that. Not possible. Not possible. I would put money on fucking Cobra to be able to do that shit before DSP.
Boxing match? No. I honestly don't think Cyrex could beat anybody on this planet.
Yo, I heard about that. I heard DSP got winded the other night ranting and shit about fucking Zelda. I heard about that. That's funny. But this is the same guy, though, who did what? 20, 25 push-ups in 30 seconds or whatever the case may be. Something like that. So let's, you gotta remember, DSP, as it pertains to locales, is at the peak of physical conditioning.
That has all their working like limbs. I think if Cyrex versus DSP, I'm 100% going for a DSP win. That's a DSP win by exhaustion. Because I think both of them will be punching like you punch when you're asleep. You know that. Dude, Moist Critical versus Cyrex. Dude, again, like if a person has both arms and both legs and can stand up for more than 5 minutes, I'm picking them over Cyrex. What about Jared Genesis? I don't know. Like, I don't know much about Jared Genesis. I know he lost like an MMA fight against like a student of the Green Rangers, and he threatened to beat his dad up on camera, but I don't know a lot about him. I don't know anything about King Cobra either, but I know he's got some stupid ass lizard, and that shit's on his last legs. He is not able to take care of a pet.
Alright, big ups to the Breaking Banquet. Holy shit. Alright. Interesting perspective, to say the least. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are down to our last 2 videos that will make up our podcast / stream, brought to us by DSP Tries It Memology 101. First video. Karen Burnell rants 40 minutes about the Zelda Twitter backlash and tears of the drama. This was published, on June 25th of 2023. The link, as usual, with everything else, will be down in the description. Holy shit. Actually, if Cyrex did accidentally headbutt one of those guys, they're going down. For sure. But I wouldn't even want to box against that dude. Because he's clear, meaning Cyrex. That dude is completely unwashed. He definitely hasn't had his shots. Jesus Christ, if that dude bit you, I feel like you turn into a zombie. I feel like you would catch some disgusting flesh-eating disease, and that's the last of you. Like, I would be scared to get bitten by that guy. Oh, that's fucking terrifying. Cyrex is just another animal. A fucking animal. Alright, here we go. Oh my gosh.
Because I hate to say it, in the modern day, it really feels to me like we're in a place where games have changed, the internet has changed, opinions have changed, and I honestly, I'll tell you this up front before we even start talking about Zelda. I like the game a lot. I'm actually happy I played it, and I'm having a good time with it. Last night, actually, the last hour of last night was really cool. I had a great time that last hour of last night where we made tons of progress, and the big plot reveal happened, and I was like, ooh, that was neat. After having played that long to finally get the big plot reveal, I was like, ooh, I like that, right? But at the same time, it almost feels like in 2023, God forbid you play a video game that's a major game that, you know, it seems there's a consensus that people really like it, and you say anything critical about it, not even necessarily just negative, like slamming the game, but even trying to be honest and transparent with an audience about your feelings about it, it's like you can't be anymore. So it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? It's like no matter which position you're in life, because if you are, oh God, you're just against the norm. You're going against the grain. You don't agree with everyone else. Yeah, you're right. In life, that happens a lot. In life, that happens where people have different experiences based on different things in their lives and their own gaming perspectives.
But here's the problem with that. That's not necessarily true. Because if you listen to some of the consensus on Twitter, and then if you backtrack to some of the things DSP said, a lot of it lines up to what he sees on Twitter, to be honest. So he's not as this independent thinker that he tries to portray himself as. But to go even further with my point, if you go back only a few years, he used to sit there and tell people, you know, stop being sheeple, stop being shills, think for yourself, you know, don't let other people influence you, and yada 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 yada. And that's exactly what he does now as it pertains to like game reviews, for example. Now he's quick to you know, wait for a game review to come out by someone reputable, and then him base his decision on whether he wants to play a game or not off of that. Instead of just, I don't know, play the fucking game. And if you like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. Because if you go ahead, I don't know if there's a way of tracking this, but if you look at what he spends on games and how much money he makes throughout the playthrough of set game, he's definitely made his money back tenfold. Even more than that, truth be told, but just at a minimum, tenfold. So how much of a loss is it really for him to sit there and play any game, if you will, for any period of time? If you really think about it. If you really think about it. Yeah, DSP has not changed a lick since fucking Top Haters. Think of and let's talk about that fuckery for a minute there. How much of a piece of shit must you be that you had to sit there and run a counter campaign against West Coast players on a... You built a... Let's reword that. You built a site to shit on West Coast players because they had a site that praised their own players. How much of a sick piece of shit must you be to do that? How mentally fucked were you that you felt the need to actually create a website just to shit on West Coast players? And these are dudes that aren't even talking about you. You want to know why? Because you're not on their radar. You are nothing to those people. And yet, you felt the need to go ahead and carry the flag calling Top Haters. Like, why would you even call it Top Haters? Oh, so you're saying that you're all bitch made, or at least you are. You're bitch made, and you have nothing else to add to the conversation. You'll never be good enough to beat those people. So let me just go ahead and run a slander campaign against them on fucking on a website. But then you're gonna call people like myself mentally ill because I make videos talking about your dumb ass and the dumb shit that you do. Make that make sense, please. And then you're up there on Twitter these days trying to ratio people to make yourself feel better, thinking that, oh, if I can get that one big ratio, people are going to come and check me out and give me money. What kind of internet whoring is that? What is this, Sodom and Gomorrah and shit? Internet edition? What is that? Fuck that.
Like that. And I hate to say it, but it just seems to me like people don't seem to respect other people's opinions anymore. All
right, touche. Like, I need to take another look at that. At Pop's list, or not list, but at his spreadsheet, if you will. And like I said, it's definitely, at minimum, it's 10 times what he spent on the game. And then, that's if he even paid for the game. Because you don't know who bought him a game. You don't know who sent him a game. You know what I'm saying? You have no clue. Like, I would say easily 30% of games DSP don't buy. It could be 40. But at least 30% of games he's not buying. I I can't necessarily guarantee it, but that's my thoughts on it.
We'll talk about that today on the show, because I am going to go in depth about my Zelda Tears of the Kingdom playthrough and feelings, and I guarantee you're going to see backlash against the things that I have to say, regardless of the fact that I should have the right to say them. All right. And by the way, again, I got to say this up front. I don't hate Zelda. I actually really like the game. Get into the meat of what I want.
Who are you trying to convince with this? Oh, I don't hate the game. No. For $100,000, would he go to Evo? No, he wouldn't go. He wouldn't go. Not at all. Not at all. Because if he do go, he's going to run into people that he used to have problems with, and he thinks those people still have an issue with him. And they don't. They've let that go. Those people have gone on to be successful individuals, to have families, to have kids. He's not even on their radar. But DSP is still scared of that. On top of that, DSP is not nearly what he wasn't shit in the beginning, let's be honest about that. But he damn sure isn't shit now. He tries to pick up Super Turbo these days, he gonna get washed. He gonna get wiggity washed. He's gonna get cleaned up. Did you guys see Justin Wong's it's on his community page on YouTube. After CEO, that dude has 3 championship belts and 2 medals. If I remember correctly, 2 of those games it might be CVS 2, and I think it's Third Strike. I can't think of what the third game is. But here's the point. That dude, Justin Wong, even to this very day, even though he can't play at the level that he used to play back in the day, is still out here winning championships and is still out here getting money as it pertains to what is essentially a hobby for him. This dude has, I want to go with the Shawn Michaels Intercontinental Belt type joint, even though there's been people since then who have white titles or white championship straps. But I'm going to go with the Shawn Michaels shit because that's what it reminds me of, the white and gold. Justin has 3 of those. Like easy weekend essentially for him and whatnot. DSP you would think something like that would motivate DSP to want to go out and see if what he could do these days or what he could obtain. But he can't. He's scared. He's ducking people online now. So trust me, he's not doing that. Trust me, he's not doing that. It's just not. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna. His FGC days, as it pertains to LAN tournaments or in-person tournaments or meetups, is over. It's long gone. He can't go to those tournaments. Here's the thing. If he goes to those tournaments, he's gonna want to record, right? And he can record his own matches or whatever the case may be. But if he tries to get anybody else's matches, he's going to get clapped. And even then, it wouldn't even matter because he can't beat them no more. Most of those matches are being streamed, or most of those people have their matches being recorded and then upload them instantly. He's not going to... There's no advantage for him to do that now. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, he's paranoid. He's scared. He's going to run into people that he knows or people who know him through something else, and he don't want to see that shit. He doesn't want to hear the laughter that's behind his back thinking it's him, and he's not, and they're not laughing at him. It's him being paranoid. He doesn't want to put himself in a situation he can't control. And like I said, the FGC has passed him up. It has passed him up. There's nothing to it. What's up, Endless? Just chilling. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the podcast. So that's my thoughts on DSP going to Evo for 100,000 or whatever. He's not going. He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. To keep what little bit of his ego intact, or the possibility that he could run into somebody, It's easier to stay at home and be a failure and whatnot than go out and try to be something more. So that's that. What do I feel about my thoughts on DSP getting bodied in a fucking Street Fighter 6? Par for the course. Par for the course. It went just the way I thought it would for the most part. I would really like a little bit of a better look at that race to 1,000 wins, because I think the numbers have been fudged, to be honest. But I think he's going to hit 1,000 losses before he hits 1,000 wins, and I think that should tell you something. And his excuses tell you something. His inability to learn, his like for example, Blanca I think they won the tournament over at CEO over the weekend, And remember what DSP told you like a week or two ago about all the limitations that Blanca has, and he didn't think he was very good because he doesn't have the tools that he felt other people do. And Blanca's a shenanigans type of player, right? Or character. But that doesn't mean that if you don't have some creativity, you couldn't do some amazing shit with him. But DSP don't see that. You know what I'm saying? He's a blunt fucking tool who will tell you whatever he wants to tell you off top because he's not smart enough, because he's not creative enough, because he doesn't have any imagination. Oh, there's no way this character could be good. Someone else do it, then what? Oh, let me go ahead and emulate their shit. But then it don't matter if what you're emulating, because if you don't understand why it's being done, it doesn't matter. It legitimately doesn't matter. Red Knight. Do I think Craig sees Phil for who he really is? I think Craig always saw DSP for what he was. I think he wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, and he wanted to keep him coming on to the show. To be honest, I don't think Craig needed much convincing to see DSP as the piece of shit that he was. And then as that interview went on, it just further proved it. To be honest, it just further proved it. And I think he got a real understanding of what kind of sad piece of shit that DSP really is. My only regret is we never got that second interview. We never got the follow-up. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, see, I don't want to let this shit out the back because I'm still working on it. By the time the interview went up and people started to talk about it, DSP was looking for a way out. Long before the follow-up or the decompression stream or the debriefing stream or whatever you want to call it, long before that actually happened, which was literally the next day, DSP was looking for a way out. He was looking for a pretense to not have to deal with these people anymore because he felt like he was getting the short end of the stick. Yeah, RD. Yeah, there you go. RD was the one who won. That dude's an animal, though. That dude's an animal. I can't wait to see what he does at Capcom Cup. I cannot wait to see what that dude does at Capcom Cup. For real, for real. And truth be told, there's actually been a pretty good following of Blanca players, but like any other tournament, the character who wins or characters who win or place high, I wouldn't say become the meta, but become what people really want to try and deal with. Because a lot of the combos and stuff he was using, you can find that on Twitter weeks ahead of time. So, not trying to take anything away from him, but I'm just trying to say. So that's what it comes down to be honest. But I think Craig always saw him for what he was. I think he always saw him for what he was. He had to do what he had to do to keep him in pocket. And I can't fault him for that. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Craig and the rest of those guys made quite a bit of money off Phil. You know what I'm saying? And they could have made quite a bit more. But like I said, DSP was looking to get out of that from square one. Even before the money. You know what I'm saying? DSP just used the money that they made off of him as a pretense. Truth be told, he was looking to get out before that. Because he knows he made himself look like an utter nut. An absolute fucking nut. And if he went back up there again, he wasn't going to be able to stand up to the pressure. He was not going to stand up under questioning the second time around. That's very clear. And DSP was so paranoid with all those detractors, trolls, haters, and critics in the comment section, or in the live stream, or the chat, I should say. DSP wasn't going to stand up to that. Am I surprised that he did the interview? No. I think that he needed someone safe. And he blew up his relationship with Craig to be more than what it was. Which I had said from damn near the square, for the most part, before I ended up taking that hiatus. That it was no way it was going to work out the way he thought it was. They're not that close. You know what I'm saying? They're not that close at all. And I don't even look at what Craig did to him as betraying him. DSP just made it seem like, oh, they're buddies. They're gonna see things from my point of view. And that's not what happened. You know what I'm saying? So if Moist Critical had gotten that interview, if Medicare had gotten that interview, if Josh had gotten that interview, Jesus Christ, if fucking Nick Ricada had gotten that interview, DSP would have gotten slammed. He'd have gotten slammed. And there was no way, there was nothing coming out of it. But he really thought whatever goodwill he had built up with Craig was going to be enough to save the day. And it wasn't. Craig was not out here to be Captain Save-A-Ho. It just wasn't going to work that way. It just wasn't. It couldn't. And then DSP made an even more foolish move by saying, I want this podcast or I want this video to be the definitive place where people could go to get my side of the story. And looking back at it, he had to have known, Jesus Christ, I should have kept my mouth shut. So there you go. I don't even know if Keem even sees the value in doing that right now. I'm not saying that Keem won't do it. I'm just saying I don't know if Keem sees the value in it. At the end of the day, if I'm Keemstar, I need to keep the lol cows or keep whatever going on with this boxing situation, and I need to figure out how I'm going to get DSP onto that fucking show. I need to figure out how to get DSP in pocket, and he can't. Because the one thing that he could leverage against DSP, which is money, doesn't work. And there's nothing honorable about DSP in me saying that. But the one leverage that Keem thought he had was money. That's not going to work. The next thing he could have is not I was going to say publicity, but I was going to say relevance, if you will, exposure. And that's not going to work because DSP is scared of new people who pop up all of a sudden. That makes him even more paranoid. Even though he tells you he wants growth, he wants this, he wants that. But he has to already pre-prep you into feeding into his narrative before that even happens. If not, then you're useless to him. You're just going to see through him. So Keem doesn't have that. And then Keem can't really use Boogie or Wings because they both have already spoken out against DSP, saying that they fucked them out of money, which is what he did. So there's literally no... Keem has nothing on him. He has nothing to stand on. He has no high ground on DSP whatsoever. DSP can literally sit there and continue to be broke and continue to beg and continue to be a bitch, and he's going to be okay with that. And there's no amount of convincing that will change that. Period.
I want to talk about today. Ladies and gentlemen, I am now 40 hours in. Someone just said, why?
Actually, I'll speak on that right now. Truth be told, I don't even think Panda's even the best way to get in. The best way to get in is through DSP's parents. Fuck, God damn it. Oh, fuck. That was for the video. Whatever. I don't care. Fuck it. Since you're going to hear it in the video, so you're just going to hear it twice. The best way to get to DSP is through his parents. That's who you go after. It's not Panda. You go out there and you interview his parents. You go out there and you show people what his upbringing was like. You show what DSP's life was like. What was he like as a kid? Did you take him fishing? Did you teach him how to ride a bike? Did you ever teach him how to swim? You attack him there. You attack him at the one place that he can't stop. You do that and it's different. Oh no, I know he told us that his father tried to teach him how to ride a bike and this and that. But I'm saying those are the questions that you ask, and either A, his parents lie and cover up for him, or B, they are I was gonna say hesitant, but they're gonna have a level of trepidation when trying to explain what those situations are. The point being though is going after his parents are the way to go. And when I mean go after his parents, I don't mean to sound malicious. I'm saying getting an interview with his parents is the best way to go. And then you branch out. Going after John and Howard, going after Panda, no. That's grifter type shit. If you really want to touch DSP, pause. If you want to actually get to DSP in a way that he can't stop, you go through his parents. And you work your way out.
My pants blue, because these are my Zelda Breath of the Wild pants, because I'm a fan of goddamn Zelda and I wear Zelda pants. See, so you all made fun of me. You made fun of me, a 41-year-old gamer on TikTok, and you said I'm a horrible gamer because I don't understand the lightning mechanic of Zelda. But I'm a fan. I have Zelda pants. Do you have Zelda pants?
That sounds like a poser if you ask me.
So you don't have Zelda pants. You don't have the right to say that that
definitely sounds like poser shit. Now that I think about it, wasn't DSP wearing those same pants yesterday or the day before? I saw someone joking about it. So this dude wore the same pants multiple days in a row? I mean, I guess if you don't go nowhere and you don't do anything, I suppose, but you don't shower either, so that makes it seem strange. But you know, whatever. Go with what you will, I guess. As it pertains to you don't think that you don't think his parents would actually do it. I think they would. I think if Keem spins the narrative right, like, hey, your son has been on the internet, he's made all this, made a living for himself. He's done pretty well for himself. You as his parents, how do you feel knowing that your son was able to come onto the internet after not having any real prospects and was able to, quote unquote, make this career for himself? You want to ingratiate them. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're going to go up to them and be like, hey, your kid's a lol cow. How do you feel about that? It's funny, but that's not the way you target it. You try to spin his quote unquote successes, and that's how you essentially build the conversation. And I think you can make that happen. I think we know enough about his parents that if someone with a little bit of creativity and charisma can easily make something like that happen. Especially if DSP don't know. He's only talking to them once a week. So it's not like that can't happen. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Dwight? So I think it's very plausible that you could go through his parents and catch an interview through that. At best, I should say.
Issues with the lightning are invalid because you're not wearing Zelda pants. I'm insulated from your bullshit because I wear Zelda pants. You see? I don't think anyone wants to play me. People want to be as far away from me as possible. I hate this whole premise of we played a whole game in this fucking world.
I think I kind of remember what you're talking about, Hermit. But let's go with that narrative. As a father, how do you feel listening to your son begging to make ends meet? This is a question for the chat and for the comment section later. How would you feel knowing that your child, who you've put all this time and energy into, makes his money being a fucking e-beggar online? And you don't think there's a level of frustration, there isn't a level of frustration behind that? And if someone was willing to be like, hey, what are your thoughts on what your son does for a living and has done for the last couple, decade or so, that you wouldn't have something to say about it? They're not going to slam their kid, clearly. But they may vent some frustrations out, or they may have some thoughts on it, but you got to build a rapport. We're talking about weeks and weeks in advance, long before you actually get them in a position where they're comfortable to interview. You know what I mean? Trust me, I think it could work. I think it could work if one was willing to go that route. And that requires a lot, to be honest. And Keem doesn't have that type of time. that car advice thing was just sad. At that age, you don't know how to change a tire. That's just unfortunate, but not surprising. Fair point. Fair point.
An 80-hour playthrough. Now we're back for the sequel. Everything's forgotten. Oh, your map has been reset. Everything's done. Fuck you. Spent all that time in the first game. Now I gotta go through this whole fucking thing and remap everything again.
Which cousin are we talking about? Like Melissa? Because Melissa's not hard to find, obviously. But Melissa's actually a fair point. But for sure she hasn't spoken to him in over a decade, so she wouldn't know much outside of what their childhood was like or what time she spent with him. Yet again, still a very good prospect.
Right? Like, geez, thanks a lot. I really feel like my time was well used in the first one. Like I said, maybe if it wasn't reusing the same map again, it would feel better because then it would make sense. But if this was, oh, by the way, screw off, now go remap the whole world again. Dude, I already did that in the first one. I gotta do it again? It's just, to me. And the funny part about it too is like,
if it was a Red Knight, if it was like published like heavy, like on Kiwi Farm. Well, he's not going to Kiwi Farms because Kiwi Farms is not on the clear web right now, and DSP's not going to try to go through a torrent to try to get to it. If it was something that was widely spread on Twitter or something, or if Keem decided to announce it, that's the only way DSP is going to know To be honest, I don't see anything else after that. I think DSP's parents, and this is just my opinion, of course, I think they're kind of numb to DSP's gaslighting as it pertains to his enemies online. It's nothing that they haven't heard before, let's be honest with ourselves. And at this point, they're kind of like, yeah, okay, Phil, whatever. You know what I'm saying? After a while. So that's my initial thoughts as it pertains to it. So that's my thoughts. Oh shit! And speaking of which, that picture about the fish that DSP's father sent him is probably far older than we know. But more importantly than that, why did DSP even have a picture of that fish in OBS? Like, what was the point of that? I don't really get that. Like, I mean, is it a flex? If that's what it was, like, what exactly was the point of it? I imagine that his father would say that too. That he's not going to change. He's too set in his ways. Yet again, it'd be an interesting conversation, though. It really would. And I honestly think, and I'll move on in a second. Let's try not to look at his parents as quote unquote a reflection of him. Let's try to have an open mind to the idea that they would be willing to speak to someone and in a interview type capacity. You know what I'm saying? If someone approached them in a professional manner and was charismatic enough, I think a rapport could have been built up and whatnot. Because what do they have to lose? DSP's gonna disown his parents? Like, let's be honest. Yes, in a respectable fashion. Or respectable fashion. Like, there's no way, like, it's not that serious. And DSP's not gonna go nowhere. Excuse me. Big up, Shark. Welcome to the situation. Alright, here, let's continue.
It seems like no matter how you play it, it's not good enough for Nintendo.
Yes, he is waiting for them to pass on so he can collect. And I'll debate anybody on that. This isn't about morals or anything anymore. DSP looks at his family as a means to an end. Matter of fact, and let me just put a census out there for a minute. I guess I could do a poll, but how many of you think that DSP has life insurance on Catherine? And I don't mean anything nefarious about it. Like, we're gonna, like the old Tevin joke where we're gonna find her head in the freezer. I'm just honestly asking, how many of you think that, there's life insurance on Catherine? Matter of fact, does Catherine have life insurance on Phil? I'm just throwing it out there.
Fans. Like, for example, if I beeline for a dungeon, he's just rushing, right? So last night, for example, I wanted to explore the southwestern part of the map. So I did. I actually was jumping between the different mountains. There were different tiers of the dragon that I wanted to hit up because I wanted to get the full story of the game. So I'm doing that. I start reading video comments. Oh my God, why did he do it like that? All he had to do was ride the road from Point Lookout, and it would have, or Lookout Landing, or whatever it's called. It would have taken him right into the Gerudo Desert. He literally wasted an hour of time traversing the mountains. Why would he just take the main road? And I was like, wait, what? So if I take my time to explore and find things in the game at my own pace, and I'm enjoying the plot line, that's bad. I gotta play a game. Okay, I gotta play this game. Gotta rush through it, finish it, so I can get to the next game. Let's play the next game. Gameplay. Get those gameplay videos out. Gameplay videos. Why didn't I just take the road, right? But if I had taken the road, it would have been, oh, well, you see, he didn't take his time to find the cutscenes, so now he doesn't know the plot of the game because he rushed through it. It's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, what the fuck? Are you fucking serious? So how exactly am I supposed to play it? Right? It seems like no matter what I do or how I play the game, it's not good enough for the Nintendo fans. So then why the fuck do I give a fuck about what the Nintendo fans think? I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a shit. And again, if you're painstakingly taking your time to do it all, because you have unlimited time, unlimited resources, and this is the only game you're playing, then maybe it has some meaning to you, and it doesn't matter if you wasted an hour.
Wait a second. Is this supposed to be part of the whole meaningful content situation? Because he really makes content creation and streaming, to be honest, sound like just another kind of low-wage job? Or just another 9 to 5? Are we talking about playing games and actually having fun? Or are we talking about, hey, trying to meet a deadline? And then he wonders why people slam him and say that, hey, you're just a poser. You don't really like games. You actually hate games, to be honest. And you do this because you can't do anything else. You have no other choices. You have no other prospects. And you have no choice. You don't do this because you have to do it or because you want to do it. You do it because you have to do it. Makes you think.
Because you have another 400 hours to play the game. But for other people who live in reality, who don't fucking have unlimited time and resources to enjoy one video game, yeah, I'm angry when I waste an hour of my time because the game didn't explain what was down there and it was a bloated in bullshit. You know, that pisses me off. And there's been many times in this playthrough where there's bloat and there's bullshit instead of...
Now, real quick, I understand the term of bloating as it pertains to gaming or whatnot. I get it. Since when did he start using that word, though? And truth be told, the only reason why he's using the word bloated is because this asshole's mad that he doesn't have, or at least he feels that he doesn't have enough time to play through the game and do every little thing, essentially. That's his own fault. If he wants to stick to the main storyline, he can. Matter of fact, maybe he should have just skipped the game altogether. He had already dragged it out for over 40 hours to my understanding, so what's the point? I'm not sure what Kat's weighing in these days, to be honest. I assume she's on the heavy side, though. And actually, that's a fantastic point. Kirk, maybe he's using the term bloated to refer to Kat in an indirect sort of way. That's kind of fucked up, but it's kind of funny too.
Full content. That's not good. Okay? Oh my god.
I feel like a Silent Weapon. I feel like every one of his streams are fucking slow at this point. I feel like they're all slow. Like, even Street Fighter on his channel's dead. It's doing well for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Especially, big ups to Voltboy, because Voltboy's cranking that shit out and whatnot. But, like, for DSP, though, it's failing miserably.
What's the solution? I don't understand, because everything I did in this cave up to now was not a problem. Why does this boss...
Since you got filled out, big up Sunspot.
To kill you. Here's the solution people say to me. Oh, you should have got more hearts. I should have got more hearts. I'm 40 hours into the game. This is not a 10-hour run and I ran into the boss. I'm 40 hours into the game. I've more than tripled to quadrupled the amount of hearts I had at the beginning. Do you understand? I have armor on. That I have some defense on. Right? If the solution is you should have just endlessly grinded and spent more time wasted in the game to level up menial things, that's not a solution. That's a cop-out, and that's basically you trying to shrug off criticism for the game that deserves it. No, there shouldn't be enemies in the game that hit you for 11 hearts. That's ridiculous. Once you get toxic, forget it. If I'm toxic, I'm not even going to bother. That's absolutely preposterous.
Goji, yeah, I heard about that. The DSP is uncomfortable about sex scenes and whatnot in the recent Final Fantasy. Now that I think about it, I may do this before the videos go, before my my coverage of the interview goes out. Josh from Kiwi Farms went over it. He didn't go over the whole thing. It's probably like an hour plus, if that. But when Josh pointed out that during a part of the interview where Craig and Adam were jokingly asking him about, hey, what was the situation with you jerking off? And DSP went into this huge diatribe on why it all happened, this, that, and the third. Josh came up with this, had this notion that, is he trying to explain the situation away as trying to justify why Panda left him? Did Panda leave him because of the masturbation situation and whatnot? Did she feel like it was cheating? Did she feel like it was offensive to her? Whatever. It's interesting. I'll let him actually say it, and you kind of catch my drift. But let's say that notion is true. Let's say it's possible. Would that not justify why DSP acts so fucking weird when you get into these situations about games or whatnot, I should say? Like he's somehow trying to make up for him screwing up with Panda and he doesn't want the same thing to happen with Catherine. So he gets into this weird little situation about everything that could be sexual or relationship oriented because he doesn't want her to get offended or anything along those lines. Does that sound rational? Yeah, the flapping. Does that sound rational at all? Or trust me, he's not satisfying either one of them, to be honest. But when I heard Josh say that, that's what came to my mind, and I was like, that could possibly be it, because there's no reason why you're freaking out over small shit like this. It's nothing. A digital relationship in a video game means nothing, and there's no way that Catherine would care. So why act like this? It just doesn't make any sense. Insecurity could be a thing. I can see that. I could definitely see that. But then we have the bathhouse scenes and shit, and that's okay? So is Kat into like the male on male shit or what? I don't know. Whatever. Whatever.
That shouldn't happen. And the solution shouldn't be spend another 10 hours grinding in the side shrines to level up your hearts more. No.
Yes, this monkey spank is definitely jerking himself off. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. And you know what? It's probably to some black bull porn too. And that's why he's so mad, and that's why he has to chew his fucking nails to the quick and whatnot. Because it's something he'll never be and he'll never have. I guarantee it.
Oh.
Shit, for all we know, Derek is making him a playlist.
The answer. That's a bad answer. That's a game design flaw that should be called out. Not just spend even more time in the game you already
felt.
I'm
not sure if it's a Theo theory, but it's decent. I would like to hear what Theo thinks about that, though, to be honest.
It was bloated. That's not a solution. That's a cop-out, okay? But people don't want to hear that. They don't like hearing honest criticism about a game that they're in love with. Sadly, this game is not perfect. Eternal Napalm, I'm sorry, I can't answer your question. At the end of the match here, I have to focus on the game. It definitely is not a game for someone who's not just focused on it. You know what I mean? It's just not. They didn't design it like that. It's like, well, you won't get instant killed, stomped by enemies if you spend another 20 hours grinding for hearts.
Like, do you hear?
What?
Oh, that's a fantastic screenshot. You see his phantom hooves? Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Okay, those are little phantom hooves. Why would any game publisher or developer make a game for people who don't have the time or the mental capacity or dexterity to play one game at a time? Why would they do that? Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. He's literally saying games should be made for content creators, right? Because no one plays video games for the actual enjoyment anymore. What sense does that make? He doesn't even see it. He doesn't even see, like, the hypocrisy in what he's saying. That shit is fucking wild. That's a great screenshot. Real quick, chat. Isn't this DSP's dirty ass Blanca shirt? Or is this actually canvas art? It looks like a shirt. Why have I not noticed this? Is this a new canvas or what is this? What? Oh wow, he threw his shirt up there as a that's a special type of pathetic. That's a special type of pathetic. Wow. That's okay. That's unfortunate. Holy shit! That's wild. That's so wild. I'm sorry, Blanca. You deserved better. You really did. I like this phantom this phantom hooves thing though. I do like this. I'm gonna have to screenshot that too. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. Praise be Almighty.
No, that's the opposite of what I want to hear as an answer. That's literally like that. I'm already telling you I'm 40 hours in and I feel like the game has bloat, and I feel like more meaningful stuff had happened in the 40 hours I played, and your solution was spend 20 more hours grinding. Like, no. But then there's other people who are disagreeing with me and then completely write off my opinion. Oh, you see, he's wrong. All right, here's the thing. All right, here's something that I've definitely learned. All right, in life,
I need banana.
you have to at least try to see from another person's perspective. You have to, okay? Because as I've gotten older, what I've realized is that when I was younger, I used to be a very opinionated person. Even here as a YouTuber, right? Very, very, very hypocritical, right? And my problem with that is I used to say it's my way or the highway. I would have a very strong opinion about something. I really liked it or I really hated it. And that opinion was fact for me. It wasn't like that's my opinion. That's fact. And God forbid anyone ever disagree with me on my opinion. Like, that's horrible that someone would disagree with me because I'm in the right. And I should show everyone the way, the truthful way of how, you know what I mean? And, sadly, I feel like a lot of people are still kind of stuck in that mindset like I used to be in. Today, if someone disagrees with me on something, what I try to do is try to understand the perspective, even if I don't agree with it. And even if maybe I can't really fully logically put myself into that perspective they're in, I still try to respect the fact that they have a feeling about something. Do you understand what I'm saying? And
so wait, I'm supposed to give a fuck about your feelings? I don't give it. No one's taking your opinion away from you. Just no one gives a shit. And I don't have to give a fuck about your opinion. Not everybody gives a fuck about my opinion. Not everybody gives a fuck about some of the opinions of people in chat. Most people don't give a fuck about a lot of things. But no one should ever have to... He literally wants people to be concerned about his feelings. And to take that into account. You got me fucked up. Holy shit. What if we... This is what participation trophies do, ladies and gentlemen. This is what this is. You know what I'm saying? This really is what it is. When everybody needed to be equal, right? And you couldn't have a clear distinction between skill between people and this, that, and the third, and whatever, and everybody need to get fucking ass pats and shit, this is where we're at. This is legitimately where we're at now. And that's unfortunate. That is legitimately unfortunate. Okay.
excuse me. So then why the fuck do I give a fuck about what the Nintendo fans think? That's why when people are coming at me and saying, you're absolutely wrong.
Skill-based matchmaking. And that's why I'm really glad that X Defiant doesn't have it, or at least from what I've seen. Because that's what made Call of Duty great, for example. It was trial by fire. You would be thrown into a fucking lobby with a bunch of goddamn savages and maybe one or two other people that were at your skill level, and you sank or you swam. Period. And this shit wasn't hard to figure out. This is the way it was. This is why Call of Duty had the longevity that it did. Instead, that's a fantastic screenshot too. Holy shit, I am 3 for 3 today. Oh, well, plus the wings ones too, so I'm like 4. Anyway, the point being is that it was you need that. There needs to be a level of struggle in anything. If not, what's the point? And Call of Duty, for example, is not about content anymore. All they want to do is throw out these fucking cosmetics to you and shit and act like people are supposed to give a fuck and say that's content. Content is not that. Get me maps. Get me good fucking maps. Don't give me the remake, washed out bullshit that these people want to sit there and suckle on. And then I heard fucking... I should just make a video on it because if not, I'm gonna piss myself off. I'm hearing people say, why don't they just make this a fucking battle royale or whatever? Do you guys really need another fucking battle royale right now? Do you really need that? No. You want to know why you guys want battle royales? Because no one wants to get back into the fucking trenches and whatnot in a 6v6, an 8v8, or even a 12v12 situation. No one wants to get back into that shit no more. That right there was where shit happened. You sitting there and getting into these battle royale situations, you get popped once, okay, you're done, and you just get back into another lobby. People are scared to be humiliated in situations. Being the weakest person on your team, okay, you have the worst kill death ratio and shit. Guess what? Next round, pick that shit the fuck up, or the match after that. Instead, people want to be coddled and shit. Oh, just show the kills that I have. Don't show my losses no more. Don't do that. I don't want other people to fucking say anything to me. That shit got lame. That shit got lame as fuck. And now, no one knows what they want anymore. Everybody wants to just be spoon-fed the same weak, bottom-of-the-barrel bullshit because no one wants to take any responsibility for shit. No one wants to get better. Everybody just wants to be on the same fucking level and shit. And because of that, there are no strives for anything. That's our problem. And that's the problem with games. Instead of making games challenging, that forces you to use your creativity, to fucking use your imagination and shit, no one wants to think their way out of it. That's why fucking, that's why God of War, that's why they use this idiot as the template. Oh, what do we need? How do we get the monkey to go from here to here to get the bananas? And that's all they did. They used him as a guinea pig. They used him as a trained fucking monkey to try to make games easier. Like, what the fuck, man? Oh, well, I love Nuketown. I gotta admit, I love the shit out of Nuketown. But you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no one wants to... It's so much harder to think now than it ever was. Like, your game developers and shit, not everyone, but most of your game developers, there's no passion project with this shit anymore. It's a paycheck. You show up, you clock in the work and shit, and then you do whatever is asked of you, and then you go. It wasn't, and you can see that. You look at games 10 years ago, you look at games now, and you can tell the difference. Not every game, of course, so don't get me wrong. Excuse me, don't get me wrong, but you get my point. And DSP, inadvertently maybe, is part of that problem. You know what I'm saying? You stick around this long and whatnot, and people are going to notice you. They just noticed him in the wrong way. And then you hear some of his excuses on how games are too hard. Why can't shit be fucking brain dead easy? I'm on a schedule. I got to juggle 4 games, this, that, and the third. No one told you to do that. That's a you problem, not an industry problem.
Zelda is great, and here's why. And I'm like, well, I agree it's good. I don't think it's the best game ever made, like a lot of people are saying, but I definitely like it a lot. But I think that there's flaws, and I have the right to criticism. And some people are like, no, you don't. Because everything you're saying is just factually wrong. You're telling me it's factually wrong that it could be unfair feeling that you just lost 11 hearts to 1 hit. You don't think it's factually, like there's a problem with the fact that the answer to the problem is you should have just spent lots more time invested in the game. Like, what? I just don't get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it drives me nuts. If my feeling is that the game has bloat, how could I be factually wrong if it's a feeling? It's not my fault. I literally did nothing wrong and violated 0 rules. Right? But here's the thing: is that there's always going to be people who
because you have a feeling that the game has bloat, and that was your feeling. How are you wrong? It's an opinion, though. Like, you're not stating actual fact. You're giving your perspective. I just gave you guys my perspective, and some of you might, or somebody else later on down the line, might disagree with it. And they have the right to do so. It's an opinion. I'm not going to sit there and fucking lose anything because you disagree with me. You have the right to. I open myself up to that. And either you care about what I say, or you'll use hopefully there's a timestamp for it, and then you just skip that part altogether. But no one's supposed to care because you felt a certain type of way. I felt like your Burger King chicken sandwich was a hot mess, and I felt like you ate it. You said you didn't eat it, but I felt like you did. Does that make me wrong because I felt that way? If you use his own logic, what does that mean, chat? I don't care how disgusting that sandwich looked because they obviously fucked the sauce up. I guarantee you he ate it. I guarantee you he ate that shit. Eat that shit the fuck up. Like wings. 3 chomps and then a swallow. So, and that's how I feel. Does that mean I can't be wrong? It's my perspective. You might have actually thrown it away. But I don't think so.
Agree. And that's okay. And I've learned to get a lot more understanding
And I
of the
feel
fact
like
that
you didn't want Catherine to go to the fucking gym anymore because she was starting to look like a snack, and you were getting mad, and you were waiting. You were mad that someone was about to scoop that up and whatnot. I'm not trying to say that, you know what I'm saying, she belonged to the streets. I'm just saying she might have been in there. She might have been making shit work, and she might have been looking like a whole snack or something, and you weren't feeling that, and maybe you had a problem getting it up. I don't know what erectile dysfunction is, and because of that, you got upset about that. Just saying. Because I don't know how you fuck up the exercise bike. Well, she had a gym membership. You didn't want her going to the gym anymore. She asked for an exercise bike. You somehow botched the exercise bike and used the money that came from said exercise bike to spend on bills. Why couldn't you have just gotten her another gym membership? Just saying. I'm not sure if she was a whole snack or something, but she could have been. She could have been. No, not now. But you know what I'm saying? But back in the day, though. Just saying. It's just really... How do you go out of your way to screw somebody over like that? How do you go out of your way...
Oh no! Oh no! No. Because in reality, the story of the game isn't 100 hours long. You understand? It's not. It would be one thing if the game was like, here's 12 things you have to do on the map before you beat it. And it takes 100 hours to do all 12 things. Then fair enough. But no. There's 4 dungeons.
Yeah, sorry about that, Chad. I lost you guys for a minute. If I need to bring if you guys need me to bring the video back, I can. Let me know.
And then there's the finale. And then, of course, there's the Tears of the Kingdom memories. Those are the real focuses of the game. Everything else in this world is extra. Literally every other thing is extra. And you can beat the game without ever having touched upon any of that. You know? And then, if I criticize that, that's not fair. Yes, it is. People need to stop living in that one tunnel vision situation. Because, again, I used to be that. I used to be that kind of a person. Where I was tunnel vision. And if you didn't agree with me, you're wrong. Alright? All I want is for people to respect my opinion. Whether or not you agree with it. Just respect the fact that there could be people out there who aren't in love with this game simply because they feel like it's too much. You know? It's 2023. We've all got a lot of stuff going on in our...
So, what happens if someone just disregarded his opinion altogether? Then what? Like, is that something that can be done? Because I think he's asking for a little too much in this particular situation. You don't have to agree with my opinion, but at least respect it. So, i.e., don't speak on what I'm saying. Don't even try to disagree with what I'm saying. Because that's going to hurt my feelings. The fuck? What have you guys been doing to him that we've gotten to this particular point? That's wild. That's wild. A grown-ass man would feel this way. This isn't politics. This isn't anything that's going to change the world. It's about your dumbass opinion about some fucking game online. On Twitter, which is a fucking cesspool, by the way. You care about that? Jesus Christ.
Lives, we've all got a lot of stuff going on where no decency, no respect, no common sense, no fucking maturity.
Holy shit. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are here at our finale. Yet again, we are here with DSP Tries It, Memology 101. I'm going to try to make decent time on this because Susan's coming for my neck. Let's see. DSP claims he was born in a difficult economic situation, and streamers are joining Kick for a quick buck. This is also from June 25th of 2023. The link will be down in the description. Now, how is it that someone who's essentially had his parents handle the majority of his financial situations for him throughout his life have the nerve to sit there and say, I grew up in a bad economic situation, and that's why I can't do anything for self? I understand the joke that everybody makes about how DSP put the hit out on T or whatever the case may be, but like, is he literally trying to absorb aspects of that kid's life into his own too? Like, DSP, you weren't part of the struggle, man. You grew up in at least from what I've seen, at least middle class, if not upper middle class. I don't think you wanted for everything, for anything. I just think your parents didn't feel that you were deserving of some of the shit you were asking for. Which makes sense. You can't give your kids every goddamn thing. But now we're going to this route? Oh, I came up rough? I came up poor? So now that's why I can't save for nothing? Oh, holy shit. Alright, chat, you already know what it is. Let's get into it.
From my perspective, I'm not like, oh, well, I just have to quit YouTube. Like, that's crazy. No, potentially, like I've told you guys, I've enjoyed being my own boss for so long. I absolutely, positively could be someone who continues to make content of some capacity forever. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding. It just doesn't have to be a full-time capacity, right? Instead of being the guy who's here 6 days a week full-time playing video games and podcasting, I could be the guy who part-time is doing discussion shows and podcasting and current events and news discussions.
What are you going to talk about? You don't know shit about current events. You don't know shit about pop culture. You don't watch anything. You don't do anything. You don't go nowhere. So what the fuck do you have to add to anything? That's one of the reasons why the detractors, trolls, haters, and critics beat you out. Because most of them have lives. They actually do shit. They've actually been somewhere. They have friends. They have people in their lives that they can draw experiences from, that they can make memories with. You don't have any of that. You have a cat that's damn near on his last fucking leg, and it hurts me to say that about Jasper. You have a horse wife that's damn near a couple of steps until we get her to the fucking glue factory. And then we got your dumbass with your fucking snort sacks. And you don't have nothing to draw on. You don't have a goddamn thing to draw on. You have no experience. You have no knowledge of anything. At all. I have to say, and this is interesting for me to say this, I would say almost anything that you could talk about is almost outdated. And that's weird. It's weird to say that about a person. It's weird to undercut, I think that's the proper term. It's weird for me to undercut you like that and say that nothing that you have nothing of value to say. You have nothing to add to any type of conversation whatsoever. Now, the concept of a clock being broken twice a day still applies here. But in the overall, you know nothing. That's why you can't do nothing. And that's why you never made anything out of yourself. So, you podcasting, you ranting about you and your fucking lame-ass life, you talking about current events, what, you mean shit on Twitter? You got nothing. You're so lazy, he is so fucking lazy, that when people talk about certain things on Twitter, there's a link to an article, usually that they're talking about. He's too lazy to even read the article to expound upon what he saw on Twitter. He won't even do that. So how the fuck is he giving you gamer news when it's really just some bullshit from Twitter? Think about that.
Maybe every once in a while, casually dabbling in a video game here or there that I really enjoy, but it's not necessarily my full-time thing forever. You know what I'm saying? It's looking like the future's so bright, I gotta wear shades. But again, those things. Here's what I found. If you are someone who can sit down at any point in your life and you can look and say, in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, here's my plan and I'm sticking to it, you are living a life of luxury. You're living a life of
luxury because I had goals and then I made plans to achieve said goals. How does that work? Explain. Isn't that what people do every day? You have bills, right? You have to plan out what you're going to do to make said bills, right? Like, you guys get vacation time, right? Or some of you at least. Don't you plan out where you want to go for said vacation? Or even for what you're going to do on the weekend? Like, isn't that the point? I don't know. Maybe I don't understand. Let's let him speak a little bit more. Let's hear his opinion so we don't hurt his feelings and get an understanding of where he's coming from.
Insulation. For the vast majority of my life, I have never known what was going to be happening in just a year or two, let alone 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Take a look at my life. Just look back 5 years before today, right? How different and tumultuous my life was. Another 5 years. Every 5 years, my life has completely changed. So how anyone has this crazy luxury of saying, I'm going to plot out my life, and in 20 years, I'll have a 401k that's fully funded, I'll be able to retire nicely and not make YouTube videos and do that. That's a crazy luxury in life. There's no plan B. I never had an opportunity to have a plan B. Seriously.
So, wait a second. So, we got a dude who makes 6 figures a year, begging, by the way. But we have a dude who makes 6 figures a year, begging. And 6 figures. And we can't figure out how to save a quarter of that. Walk with me on this, chat. Here, let me throw some snort bucks in the fucking chat and whatnot. And I'm going to need you to walk with me on this for a minute. Okay. 6 figures a year. And we can't figure out how to plan for retirement. A 401k, an IRA, a Roth IRA, CDs, fucking hedge fund. We can't figure out none of this shit. Fuck it, this. Just a savings account. We can't figure out how to put money away month to month in a savings account. It's a luxury that you were able to do that. What the fuck happened to this guy over the past week or so that we're at this position? What happened? Is he like Cobra and he can't afford alcohol this month or some shit? What is this? Oh boy.
Like, you're lucky if you're able to do that. Be happy that your parents probably provided you with financial stability in your youth so you could get an education, you could go out and get a great job, and you could have a family right away and your stability. And
first off, your parents put your ass into multiple fucking private schools. That's why you were running around simping for nuns. Secondly, you ran around in the FGC and said you went on a full scholarship to the school you went to. Come to find out, and I'm debating whether that's true or not. Then you said, oh, well, I had a partial scholarship and my parents paid the rest. The only thing you had to do was work for pocket money, even though your parents gave you pocket money. So that story is already a little foggy in itself. But your parents didn't put you in good schools. Your parents didn't show you or give you some type of understanding about how finances work or just money in general. Your parents couldn't afford to give you the best education possible. Certainly a better education than they probably had. I'm sorry. What? Motherfucker, you didn't come up out the dirt. How dare you say this shit? I don't care how rough your neighborhood was. It wasn't that rough. Jesus Christ. He hates stationery so much he wants to be one. He got life fucked up.
all that. A lot of people on this planet don't have that. I've never had that. In my entire life, I've never had that stability. Had never. It's always something fluctuating, uncertain, weird, and different. I didn't choose that life. That's the life that I stumbled into, and the cards that I was dealt, and I'm just doing the best with what's handed to me. You understand? I wish that I could tell you that, yes, I have a 20-year plan that by the time I'm in my early 60s, I have a fully funded 401k, and I could stop making YouTube videos entirely.
Well, okay, let's go ahead and move away from the stationary part for a minute. The poor black kid situation and whatnot. He's B Rabbit. This is 8 Mile. This is 8 Mile in Detroit, right? This is what this is. You know what I'm saying? Was Mommy Burnell sitting there telling him that, hey, she's mad because her boyfriend wouldn't go down on her? Or he was getting beat up to try to protect his little sister and shit? Because some punk ass bitch who thought he could do anything about anything and fucked his bitch in a fucking studio. Fuck it, I think it was in a sound booth at a studio or some shit. and whatever. What the fuck is this? This must be 8 miles from Bridgeport. This must be what this shit is. He got life fucked up. He got life fucked up. He's got life fucked up. This idiot has bragged to us multiple occasions on what his upbringing was. And then he got the nerve to turn the fuck around and sit there and say, I came up with nothing. I didn't have the opportunities that other people had. When in actuality, chat, if you guys know your lore, you know what I'm talking about. Hate Mile. I like that. Hate Mile. That's what this is. This idiot is mad because he couldn't get the nice shiny cars like some of his friends had when he was growing up. They had their families lived in big houses, had nice boats or jet skis and shit. And he didn't have that. Gated mile. I like that too. He's mad that he couldn't have what his friends, quote unquote, had. So automatically you think you came from the dirt? And then with all of the money and all of the connections they had to use to get you into these schools, you were the one who fucked up and couldn't use your education properly. How the fuck did you go to business? You went to school and you got a degree in business, and you were jumping around from fucking Best Buy to Circuit City, and then your dad had to get you the job at the helicopter company. You somehow fucked that shit up, and then you went ahead and found YouTube. He didn't use his business degree on anything. He jumped from customer service to customer service to customer service. Wow. That's fucking fantastic, man. Holy shit.
Right off into the sunset of retirement. It's not possible right now. Plan for retirement. Dude, I can't pay my day-to-day bills. Right now my bank account is overdrawn. I'm not even kidding you.
Oh,
right now my bank.
Remember this arc? Back in the day when he was overdrawn on everything constantly, and every time money came in, it was just to cover the overdraft fees. Back in the day.
Is overdrawn. There's no money for retirement. At one point in my life, much earlier in my life, I was saving money for retirement, and that's all been spent because I had to spend.
Let me explain that part to you. The money he's talking about for retirement was at the helicopter company. His father had set him up. His father set him up with a 401k, and he blew that money when he got fired. And he blew the severance package that they left for him too. Well, that he took with him when he left us also. So we blew our severance package, which was probably 3 months worth of pay. He blew the 401k after that. And keep in mind, mommy and daddy were still giving him money while he was unemployed. And then he sat there and fucked up his AdSense account on YouTube, goes the blip, fucks that opportunity up, comes back to YouTube, and has to beg Hutch for a fucking job at Machinima. Oh, and I heard that DSP want to go over the June the King documentary for the Machinima shit. I'm on that. I want to hear DSP's story change on that one. I want all of that. I want every bit of it. Actually, fantastic point, Kirk. How the fuck he came up out the slums. He came out the dirt. And yet he had time to run around to all these Street Fighter tournaments for multiple years. Multiple years he went to EVO. And he went to these Street Fighter tournaments. He talks about 2005, 2006, and 2007. He's been doing that since like 2001, 2002. Because I think he said he went to one of, if not all of the original B5s, or Battle by the Bay. That's before it became EVO. Think about that. Think about that, chat. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's a great point, Goji. That's a fantastic point. I just this has gone to some new levels. I hope this makes it into Secret Limited's video. I hope it do. I hope this does. Jesus Christ. This is dirty. This is dirty. There are people out there, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sure you guys know this, who came up with less and yet were able to do more to secure their future than this piece of shit. Everything has been essentially handed to this guy. This dude never fell on his ass or on his face. There was always someone there to pick his ass up. There was always someone there to give him mercy or give him extend him a quote-unquote line of credit. There was always someone there to help him. And he got the nerve to say, I have nothing. And I don't have anything because I was never put in a position to have anything. Jesus Christ.
So much money to make ends meet out here. So, long term, yes, maybe. Right now, I'm just trying to get to the point where I'm stable every month. I'm paying all of my stuff. I'm not behind on anything. And I have enough flexibility so that if something goes wrong, like my car breaks down or my fucking tire gets stolen, right? Or I get something breaks in the house or a piece of equipment breaks.
I need the situation that your parents paid for. And by the way, I do think his parents threw up, or at least his father. His father threw up the money to take care of that situation. I honestly do. I honestly think his dad was like, "Hey, tell me how much it is, and I'll transfer the money to you, or whatever. Pay for it now, but I'll reimburse you to help you out." I honestly think that, because if he knew how to change a tire, ladies and gentlemen, why did he need to call his father? I want you to think about this. He told us, "Oh, I know how to change a tire. I got that locked up." If that was the case, then what did you need to tell your father for? What'd you have to call him for? It sounds like you called him for financial help first off. And then, hey, Dad, someone stole the tire, like the whole fucking tire, and now I got to put the spare on. How do I do that? That's what that sounds like. So he ain't double tapped on his own parents. That's a great screenshot too. But because you can see how puffy his face is. Jesus Christ, man, you really need to drink more water, like real water, not that fucking flavored sparkling water you like so goddamn much.
Quickly replace it.
Yeah, he
then
could
I have
have found a replacement tire on. That's a great screenshot too. He could have looked for a replacement online, but that's too much. That's too much of a hassle. Way too much. And then he got fleeced anyway, because he said what, $400, $600? Really? All right.
Flexibility to do that right away. Once I'm to that point, then you can look and say, oh, maybe now I have a little bit
What's causing his face to puff up? Alcohol, for sure. His drinking for sure. For sure. And he's definitely not taking in enough water. But drinking a lot of alcohol will puff your face up like that.
Sure, every month I could put aside for something, right? But right now, I wish I had that. I'm not even to that
actually,
point.
You're right. He did go into the tire store to get those, to get five lug nuts essentially for his tire, and 4 of them fit and the other one didn't. And he just went ahead and was like, "Oh fuck it." He could have just walked back to the store, or could have sent Kat back to the store to get the 5th one, but he chose not to.
Of just even Steven before I can start looking to say, "Oh, there's extra to put aside now." Do you understand?
I never thought thyroid. He might. I never really thought about that. I guess that's possible. Interesting. Yeah, he does kind of have the alcohol nose too. And thanks, Mr. No Views, for coming out. I appreciate it. All right, let's finish.
Come fucking... Oh my god. Oh my...
Look how stressed out he is. Over a mini game. Look at how stressed out he is. He goes to a casino, he gonna lose his goddamn shirt. He's gonna be crying in the corner. Holding a glass of gin. Watered down gin at that. That's legitimate. This is legitimately an addict. I've seen people like this before too. I've seen people who sat there, were shooting crabs and and just stayed for a little too long. I've been at blackjack tables and seen people who should have just picked up and left while they were ahead, and just got cleaned up And they all have that same look, like, why didn't I stop when I had the chance? Holy shit.
God. Well, I'll get another dollar tip. This doesn't even make sense. Since you're crowdfunded, you have to always depend on people, even if you stop playing games. What could you do to make money for yourself, but also not have to be crowdfunded? Nothing. Literally everything in life is crowdfunded.
Holy shit. Bring that back. Bring that back. Please bring that back. Please bring that back.
Nothing. Literally everything in life is crowdfunding. Literally everything. But if you have your own business thing, literally everything in life is crowdfunding. Even if you stop playing games, what could you do to make money for yourself, but also not have to be crowdfunded? Nothing. Literally everything in life is crowdfunding. Literally everything. But if you have your own business, you rely on the customers to come fund your business and buy your product. If you work for a company, you rely on that company.
What? If you own a business, Phil, the customers come to you. You don't necessarily go out to your customers. If myself and Chiyo are running Snort Coffee Company, the best beverage company, I don't go out there to fucking different businesses and shit and be like, hey, you want to buy my coffee? They come to us. We provide something that they want. How is that crowdfunding, Phil? How is that crowdfunding? I'm providing a product that people want to buy. How is that crowdfunding? You have completely lost the fucking narrative. You completely lost the fucking narrative. What the fuck have you people done to this dude? I need to hear this shit again. This guy has gone fucking mad. He's gone fucking mad.
This doesn't even make sense. Since you're crowdfunded, you have to always depend on people, even if you stop playing games. What could you do to make money for yourself, but also not have to be crowdfunded? Nothing. Literally everything in life is crowdfunding. Literally everything. But if you have your own business, you rely on the customers to come fund your business and buy your product. If you work for a company, you rely on that company to provide a workplace and employment and work to do. Everything is always dependent on something else. There's literally nothing on planet Earth that's 100% dependent on yourself. Doesn't exist.
You know me? What compensation do I
This piece of shit is cancer. This piece of shit right here is fucking... He is cancer. He is the fucking plague. Mark my words. This isn't even a symbiotic type of relationship. This piece of garbage is just that. He's a parasite. He is cancer. He is fucking cancer. I've never... Why am I surprised? Why am I surprised? Why do I do this to myself? I know, and see, I get on people I get on other detractors for shit like this, to be honest with you. For trying to humanize Phil. But you can't. He's not wired like the rest of us. And don't get me wrong, I'm definitely not wired I'm definitely not wired completely. But Jesus Christ, it's not like this. I've said and done some silly shit. Some really fucking silly shit. But not like this. My fucking mechanic is not crowdfunded. My dentist is not crowdfunded. My doctor is not crowdfunded. My lawyer is not crowdfunded. Oh my god. That's Phil Burnell, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you're online too fucking long. This is legitimately what happens. You just... Vampire Pig, for sure. For sure. Count Goutula, or whatever. Like, this is... This... Wow. Just wow.
From you! You guys crowdfund me. Unless you're a hermit and you live in the fucking woods and you're chopping the trees down and you're eating squirrels off the tree. But even then, you're dependent on the tree to be there and stay healthy and the squirrel to be there to eat. It just doesn't exist. You're living a fantasy life. Really. You're living a fantasy world. Doesn't exist. What you're saying...
Am I supposed to... Should I go out there and make fucking human sacrifices to Gaia? And be like, thank you for the harvest and shit? Is this what it's come down to, ladies and gentlemen? Inflation's up. The weather's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. It might be time to go ahead and sacrifice DSP to the harvest. It might be time to do it. It may be time. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? This is kind of scary. This is legitimately kind of fucking scary. Phil, I understand that you have... I could use some really vile terms for this. I can understand that you've gotten over on people... Excuse me. That you've gotten over on people for a very fucking long time. And I shudder to try to humanize what you're trying to say here as there's no such thing as a free lunch or whatever. You have lost the fucking script on this one. This is ugly. This is ugly. Oh god. Holy shit.
Is a myth perpetrated by people who like to feel safe on this planet, when in reality there's no such thing as safety, because at any moment the sun could go supernova and we're all dead. So there's no safety.
And here's the thing. This isn't being pragmatic, and this isn't even being a nihilist. This is just sick. This is legitimately just sick. And yes, it is the justification of begging, but this is even sicker than that. This is even sicker than that. We have completely and utterly fallen off the fucking rails with this shit. Holy shit. This is some next level bullshit here. This is fan fucking tastic. It's very possible that the vortex is just, it has taken, it's certainly done irreparable damage to him, and he just doesn't know what to do, because it's clear that he don't have a plan, right? It's clear that he has no idea what the fuck he's doing. He's been running around trying to play an adult for 20 fucking years. He's failed at it miserably. And the only thing he has in his miserable piece of shit life is this online thing, right? And that shit's turned on him for the last 15 years, or 10 to 15 years. It's clear that he don't have nothing. But this is, all jokes aside, this is bad. This is really, really, really bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, take your ass home. And with the supernova not nonsense, but with the supernova thing, why even get up? Why even get up every day if it could all end anyway? If you want to look at it from that standpoint. I mean, we're all going to die eventually anyway, but that doesn't mean you got to sit around and act like this. When you get up in the morning, do you think about you could die today? No. Because life loses meaning once you get to that point. When you're where Wings is at, essentially. When you're just ready to give up. Wow. Okay. Let's keep it going.
Come down and liquefy us all with a gun in 5 seconds. There's nothing we can do. In life, nothing's certain. No safety. Stop that ridiculous feeling right now. Oh, but what are you going to do to insulate yourself? You can't insulate yourself, ever. Doesn't exist.
To do what I love to do, and because you crowdfund me, I'm able to stay true to myself.
But if isn't he using crowdfunding to try to insulate himself, or am I completely missing the point here? Wow.
I mean, instead I relied on, all this income or all this input from companies or spawns for free. You know what I mean? Because they made it and they want me to kiss its ass. I wouldn't be who I am today. I would be a completely different person. I would probably be Greg Miller. I would probably be these big time fucking streamers who I don't even want to mention their names because they're assholes and they'll probably talk shit about me on social media if I say anything.
Anyway, only I 7 did this.
Yeah, he must be ready to clock out. the way he talking right here, he legitimately sounds like he's ready to go. I mean, that works out for Kat. You know what I'm saying? She's kind of free from her servitude. But this is bad. This is really, really bad. Holy shit. Alright, here, let me go. Jesus Christ.
Guys, just go to Kick. I don't see any reason to go to Kick. I enjoy being on YouTube and having my audience here. I have absolutely no aspirations to blow up and make giant money, which it seems like everyone who's running to Kick is exactly what they want. Oh, the Twitch party's over. Run to Kick. That's the new land of milk and honey where you can do whatever you want and make big bucks.
Anything for this, right?
Why do I need to do that? I'm not looking to do that. I'm not going to ever get virally popular on Kick or anywhere else. I'm happy being who I am with the audience I have. I'm not being complacent. I'm being a realist. These people who jump from trend to trend, this is what they're doing. They're just trying to stay on top of this big money-making game. To them, that's what it is. It's a game. Get the bag. That's not what this is for me. It's not get the bag.
Did you say you run a business, though? So your priority is to make as much money as possible. You have a family that you keep hiding behind. So shouldn't you be trying to put money away for them just in case something happens to them? Or are you planning on outliving them, too? Like, nothing that he says makes any sense. Especially the way he hides behind his quote-unquote his wife and his fucking cat Jasper. He's always saying, oh, I wish I had more time spent with my wife. I always had more time spent with my wife. Well, Phil, and this is probably what's going to end up happening to you, what the fuck's going to happen if you have a brain aneurysm or if you fucking have a heart attack on stream and you die? What happens to Kat? Did you ever think about that? Putting some money away from her? Because I don't think she can sell your WWE account. Your WWE Champions account, I should say. I don't think she can do that. So how the fuck are you somehow, like that doesn't make any sense. Like, he tries to tell you that he's trying to maintain what he has, and there isn't any wiggle room to plan for the future. But clearly, through his drinking and his gambling, that's obviously not the case. So you're just going to beg for the rest of your goddamn life, and that's just supposed to be the way it's going to be? Wow, okay.
The bag, I would have taken every money-making opportunity I was presented, and if you haven't noticed, I've turned down a lot of them. You see?
Very important. We gotta do things properly here. Make sure we don't make any terrible decisions.
Jesus Christ. Oh, the madness. The absolute fucking madness. Alright, I'll see you guys in just a second. We'll close this out. Okay, chat. I don't know what I don't really know what to say, man. I don't. Susan's at my fucking neck and whatnot. This guy is talking tomfoolery like I've never heard. I don't know what to make any of this. I really don't. Like, it sounds like someone who is ready to give up, who's ready to clock out. I guess. I mean, Trolls took everything away from him. Like you said, you're right, Chris. I thought Trolls took everything from him, but I don't know what to make any of that. Holy shit. Holy shit. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully there'll be another stream later on in the week. We'll see how Susan feels about the situation. Thanks for sitting around and kind of hearing me out on some of this nonsense or whatnot. I'm still working on, like I said, I'm still working on my videos. It's be a while until we get things worked out and they can get published and whatnot. But until then, continue to stream, having a good time with it and whatnot. Appreciate you guys all coming out. I'll see you guys for the next one. We'll see what nonsense that comes up. Like I said, Wings. I'll see if I can get the fight that happened at CEO. I'll see if I can get the Cyrax situation. What else? And then we'll see whatever Cobra, LTG, Wings, or DSP is doing. For sure. But take care of yourselves, guys. And I'll see you guys on the flip. Later, people. Holy shit. Holy shit!